tyrannical asshole.
Oh, no.
Yes. And there's no known cure, I'm afraid. Everything just seems shitty, and everyone starts to seem shitty, and everything they say just starts...
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
Yes, Mr. Sherman, everything stinks.
Must everything be boring and sad?
How dare you?
He always does this. Just to rub it in my face. I can't even get out of this thing.
What? You got a Rancor too now?
His is bigger.
What?
Yes.
Yours has like big crazy horns and shit.
No, his is the cantina. His is the cantina.
Oh my god.
Edition.
Oh my god.
Listen, he has spikes. Listen, I'm not grateful. I'm very grateful for the adopted. He's got spikes. Look at him. Well, now he won't stop. See, he plays this game. Like I try to catch up to him, and then he just runs away. Stop running.
No, my brother is just the Tard Wrangler of the two of us. He has to lead us around and be like, "Come on, come."
Do you see his spikes? They're orange.
Yes, they are. Quite nifty. And yours has big, gnarly horns. What are you crying about?
No, his are orange.
No, I get that he has the like spikes around his back and stuff that are orange and everything, but you got big, gnarly horns on the freaking head of the Rancor you got. Pretty cool.
No, his are orange.
Did you want what? You wanted an orange spiked Rancor? Would that have made you feel a little better?
No. Where are we going? I'm hungry. There's stuff at the gas station.
Own your truth. You know, it was difficult. It was at first. I mean, you just cornered me like that and everything, but you know, it's a little liberating now to know I can like Star Wars in more ways than I ever imagined. Dave Filoni is the savior of Star Wars. KK is doing an amazing job. The people out there are just blind and can't see it. So yes, thank you. I can stop lying now.
Are you sure? Damn, that's not good.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants. I got news for you, pal. You ain't leading but two things right now. Jack and shit. And Jack left town.
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
Hey, Farva, what's the name of that restaurant you like with all the goofy shit on the walls and the mozzarella sticks? You mean Shenanigans? Oh. You're talking about Shenanigans, right? Put those away!
When you get... Instead of just like trying to slap something out like the Star Wars experience and crap, but when you have... Don't. I'm sorry, it's true though.
No,
it's like...
I just got back from... Oh, I just died.
I just watched that. It was hilarious.
How do I get back up there?
1 week later.
I don't know what I was doing, but from that angle, I just jumped.
You just walked right off the cliff. It was hilarious.
I don't know what I was doing, but I was like, that's funny. I was just like, do, and I was like over here, and I was like, woo. Oh, see, you thought I was gonna do it.
And he did it. All right.
Oh,
I missed it.
I was fully. I didn't know how to do it. I was just messing around.
Yeah, you.
W.
Oh, that was gold. That was
not straight. Stay tuned.
Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Saturday Night Sith. I am your host, the Fractured Filter. We are on now episode 142. Shenanigans are already occurring behind the scenes, and I can't keep this up for much longer. But with me tonight is, always, as you already saw, he was ranting and raving, bobbing and weaving. Jay Hitman, sir, how are you tonight? Hang on. I don't know what's going on. Hang on. All right, now talk.
Hello?
There we go. It was because I was in the other the show notes, and so it gets a little screwy when it. Yeah, we should be good now. But yes, how are you tonight, sir?
That was the calmest I've ever seen you talk, and it had a hint of like I'm irritated and I don't want to lose my cool.
No, I was trying to go for like one of those like really chilled, laid back, kind of some of those content creators that, you know, just come in with us really like, hey man, how's it going? Guys? I it's like and subscribe.
Yeah. It's like, can we get a smash in the chat, please?
Can we get that? Thumbs up, please. Yeah, thank you.
To pay respects, chat.
So yeah, I just wanted to try a different opening for the show. Bring a different energy, you know? Huh?
You should have been like, chat, we're cooked.
Hey, we know how to have fun around here. But yes, sir, how are you?
Good.
You good? That's good.
Good. It's really good. I at work last night I got into
oh god.
Well, before you just lose it, it's always kind of happens. It's kind of, last night was very reminiscent of like what happens on Wormhole Watch, where I just get ganged up on by three individuals.
Ganged up on.
Oh yeah. I get just from every side. It's like coast to coast to coast. About Andor, and I lost.
Oh god, you got into it with Andor shills.
Oh yes, because certain individuals were like, "Oh, it's so good. I watched season 2 and I just wanted more." And so we got on specifically, not to draw this out, but we got on to the subject of like Luthen. I was like, tell me how Luthen. I was like, one, explain to me how they had Starkiller's armor, and didn't have an answer. And I was like, explain to me how they had Padme her headpiece, and he's like, well, he's from Naboo. I was like, where in the show did it say that he was from Naboo? Please tell me. And I said, that's neither here nor there.
They've never indicated that he's from Naboo, and how would he still get that sort of garb?
So, and then I was like, okay, well, how about this one? Explain to me how there is a Sith holocron in Luthen's shop, and Palpatine, who is still Emperor on Coruscant, didn't sense it. It's like it was a fake. I'm like, it's a fake holocron. It's like, yeah, it's fake. It's a jewelry store. It's an antiques shop. So of course it's fake. And I was like, and then he got onto it, and then his whole defense to this was, and it gets better, but his whole defense was like, it's for you. It's for you fans, because you know it. And I'm like, so the three areas we covered. One, I called out Tony Gilroy as the laziest writer next to Joby Harold about how he said, well, people have unresolved issues. So we just decided that this could be.
We're just going to ignore it now. Yeah. Right. Well, but remember, if you've seen the comments of when we clip that out, apparently that's not a plot hole. So apparently we're wrong.
His sister was, he literally was spending 8 episodes trying to find his sister. And okay, and then if you don't want to use his sister, what about the 80 million credits?
Right, and then there's that.
And then the most egregious one, which was my favorite, was I was like, explain the stones in Luthen shop. He's like, explain why R2-D2 and C-3PO are in Raiders of the Lost Ark. So I was like, okay, fine, whatever. I'd not
Wait.
seen Raiders of the Lost Ark, so
That I was unaware of that.
yeah, well, look it up because I did not fact check him, but according to him, C-3PO and R2-D2 were in Raiders of the Lost Ark, a cameo in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Whether they were like maybe a card figure, I don't know.
Oh, that's
And then
it did pop up as in Indiana Jones as a Google search. Oh, it's apparently a hieroglyphic thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah, but I basically
Hieroglyphs, yeah.
okay. Well, that was
I
just
still
because
I still find that just as ridiculous too at times because I mean I get it, Easter eggs, but like, come on, certain things should make sense, and especially when you pop in.
Yeah, it's just the fact that he's like, it's for you. I'm like, yeah, but any other fans that aren't EU supporters won't understand what it is. And he couldn't even tell me. I was like, how Starkiller's armor in there? He was like, he didn't have an answer. I was like, it's just ridiculous. Long story short, I got called many things.
Many things, huh?
Many things that I can't repeat on stream because this is a kids show. But once again, they had no defense. They're like, it's cinematic. Oh, that was the last one. Okay, it's like, explain to me how Andor, who, and then I was sure to remind them that Andor was not a character, and he was just a rip off Kyle Katarn, and that Janors and Kyle Katarn were actually the ones that stole the Death Star plans, and not those two knuckleheads. And then they're like, well, that was no Rogue One. I'm like, Rogue One's not canon. It's fine.
I like how just you're just like, nope, not canon. You're just done. I love it.
Yeah. And then I further went on to prove the point of, and I said, if that's not enough evidence for you, his pistol that he just so conveniently has is called a Briar pistol, and if you didn't know,
it's Kyle Katarn's weapon. Yeah,
I was like, that's an iconic weapon of none other than Kyle Katarn. It's like arguing with children. It's like arguing with toddlers because it's like they're right, you're wrong. Nothing you can say is going to change their minds, despite like I am in fear for people who genuinely think that this is a great show.
Yeah, it's a disappointment. It's very disappointing.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry. The last thing, and then we'll get to the chat, is like, explain to me how he escapes from a prison in the middle of an ocean. Well, there was land. I was like, there was land as far as the eye could see. So tell me how they could do that, but like you can't escape.
You would have thought they would have picked some more dangerous waters to put them put a prison in. It's especially Hitman's dropped. Hitman has dropped. Okay. Well, since he's done that, chat, how are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. Well, I gotta scroll up a bit, and I'll start tag. Oh, he's back. He's back. Is he? Hitman, are you back?
I'm back. My Bajoran eating puppy was getting into stuff.
Oh, okay. So was that it for the prison part?
No, no. I was like, explain to me how they escaped, and like they swam. I'm like, that was and I don't remember seeing land in that scene. Maybe there was, but regardless, that's a bit of a swim.
A bit, yeah, just a bit. And I was saying before
Alcatraz, I don't know how they could have escaped that.
Well, and like I was saying before, you had to kind of duck away really quick. It's like you would have thought the Empire would have had some more dangerous waters to be surrounded by, especially just with the concern of somebody getting out, so they don't get too far.
Well, it's like Bora Bora. So it's just Anyways, it's just like arguing with toddlers, and it's like I think I almost said Skeleton Crew was better.
I haven't even watched that, so I can't say.
Oh yeah.
I just know that show got weird. So shall we get to the chat? Say hi to chat.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We had it first in Melissa Lord saying, "Hey, Fractured Filter. Hello. How are you today?" Star Wars Scran saying, "Howdy, Fractured Filter and gang. Hello, sir." And adding, "The real Kyle Katarn is here." Damn straight. 6 people here. Hit that like button. Thank you, Star Wars Scran. Absolutely. Please do. Smash that like button. Scran had said, "Poor Hitman," and I believe that was in regards to the clip with you and the Rancor business.
Oh yeah, I still haven't forgiven you guys for not letting me get the Rancor North.
And he repeated it's orange.
It wasn't. It had spikes.
It did. It was orange with spikes. Star Wars Grant also said Hitman is the embodiment of shenanigans. He can be, and it's what makes everything so fun around here. I'll tell you what.
So kind to say. That's the nicest thing anybody said to me today.
You keep having these things. That's the nicest thing you said to me all week. I'm like, I'm not that mean to you.
Yeah. What did you say? Because I called you out in the office. What did you say to me?
I think I was agreeing with you on something. And then you were like, that is the nicest thing you've said to me all week. I'm like, what?
Yeah, and everybody's like, what did you do to him?
I'm like, I don't know what's going on here.
If you only knew. It was something funny, but I can't remember what it was.
I think it was something related to the Bajoran and Cardassian talk, I think, and Wormhole Watch and all that. So I think it was
probably.
I think it was related to that.
Oh yeah, because you're like, no one had a something about like holding them hostage. I was like, nobody had a disruptor rifle to their head.
That's right.
And nobody in the office knew what a disruptor rifle was, which was pretty depressing.
Yeah, I know it is. Not everybody's on the up and up on the Star Trek talks.
You meant to say not everybody's cultured, and I agree. Those people,
true,
or uncultured, or
agreed. Hello, Black Pill. Hello, Black Pill Timon, the Meteor Advocate saying, "Hey, yo, Black Pills." Hey, okay, listen. I want to clear something up here. I am not black pilled. I can be a very positive person when I want to be with the right topic. If it's something that I enjoy and I am passionate about, I can't help that I'm honest about what I see. Do people want me to lie to them? I don't understand this. Like, do you want me to become some other fakey type grifter dipshit? No, I don't. I would like to think not. So I can't help that I'm just honest and, and I'm just, I'm just an honest individual. And if people can't take that,
you are the epitome of black pill.
What? How dare you, sir? How dare you? I can be plenty positive about the right thing. I was positive about Godzilla -1.
That's because you're biased.
And I got another. I tried hang on if I can find it really quick. Where was it? I know I bookmarked it.
The Dragon Ball Z game.
No, I tried the demo for this indie game, Ruffy in the Riverside, which kind of looks like its own like Banjo-Kazooie style platformer adventure game. I tried it out. It was fun. It had some creative aspects to it. And I'm a little bit looking forward to it. Although it's coming out at a really awkward time because I'm going to be probably playing System Shock 2 the anniversary remaster when that comes out. So I can be positive. I can't help my brutal honesty, okay? And I'm not gonna lie.
No, you're just gonna black pill.
How dare you?
It's not lying.
Star Wars Grant.
It's not my words. It's the tech words.
Star Wars Grant said Andor simps are the worst. They say it's better than George's 6 movies. What was that meme I've been seeing around with the horse and then the guy with the shotgun? The shotgun needs to be pointed at those idiots. Hey, Backseater, how's it going? Saying, I'll never forgive Pop-Tarts for getting rid of the chocolate chip cookie dough flavor. Oh, no. Oh, no. I've always been hit and miss with Pop-Tarts when I did eat them. They have their moments, but man, the frosting they got lazy with. Star Wars Grand said the lazy writing is to appease EU fans. Ha! In regards to the Andor show you were talking to and the little Easter eggs that were in there.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Nerdy Neo, how's it going, man? Saying a quote unquote genius on Reddit replied to me yesterday saying he's happy to get the Disney slop if he gets the occasional quote unquote masterpiece that is Andor. That is like the saddest thing in the world, that you have to lower your expectations that much to think you're getting something of a masterpiece when there's the whole true canon universe available to you for reading and everything. It's like, really? That's just sad. God. Hitman, what do you think?
I went to the local store and they have Andor toys, which I thought was appalling.
Oh God.
So there's that.
Indeed.
They're winning on that front, I guess.
Star Wars Grim's pointing out how the C-3PO and R2-D2 were in the background as hieroglyphs. Yep, I saw. It's not the
same.
same.
We'll probably get called.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm sure we'll get critiqued by people who watch the show and say that we're hypocrites because we're calling out stones in Luthen's shop that we weren't calling out the C-3PO. Which, again, to your point, I would have had an issue with both.
Yeah, it's silly, but like he says, Star Wars Grand saying it's not the same thing. The guy is selling these important relics in his store, which should cause questions. That's different from a tiny hieroglyph that is barely visible. I'll agree with that. And he says we are forgetting Ambor is too sophisticated for us. They are way smarter than us, even though they misunderstand Star Wars in general. The whole concept of the prison is stupid when they have droids building the Death Star. Exactly. And what did they also? They lost the plot with the whole. That was the part of the enslavement of the Wookiees to use for slave labor to build the Death Star. I guess they dropped that idea.
Here's the thing. It's okay to use Wookiees for slave labor, but I get called out and get accused of using Bajorans as slave labor. I just can't do this joke.
Job fairs.
No, it is a job fair. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's equal opportunities. So I get called out because people claim that the Cardassians enslaved the Bajorans, which, mind you, no one had like I told you, nobody had a disruptor rifle up against their head. They could have just walked out if they wanted to.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's what I was agreeing with you on.
Yes, it's not like Circa Corps having or not even stun rifles. They're one of the rifles they carried. Circa Corps, like in KOTOR, when they enslaved the Wookiees. They should have killed them.
Oh, Zerka Corporation, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's barbaric. Have you been killed with a vibroblade? They hurt.
I have not, thankfully.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Just yeah. I can't wait to use that on Wormhole Watch and throw that at Bradley and Adam.
I look forward to it. It'll be hilarious.
Oh, you would. You'll just sit in the background and eat popcorn.
Good.
Why haven't we brought that up before? I forgot the Wookiees had their own job fair.
That's right, they did. I only got reminded of it because my brother and I went through the Force Unleashed books, and they touch on that in the first one, the whole Wookiee enslavement stuff.
Let's be honest. If anybody needed a job fair, it was more so the Bajorans than the Wookiees, because I would like to think that the Wookiees are a little bit more intelligent than the Bajorans. They don't follow a storyteller.
This
they
is
just follow
true.
a chieftain.
Yes, which is much more official than a storyteller in my book. Much more proper.
And it's not wise.
Much more civilized.
What does Han say? It's not wise to
upset a Wookiee.
cheat on a Wookiee. Yeah, upset a Wookiee because they'll rip your arms.
Rip your arms out.
Yeah.
Backseater said Hitman temporarily died of cringe. Star Wars Grant said masterclass of writing. Backseater says Skeleton Crew is cringe incarnate. Everyone says Neil is bad, but Wim is the worst in my opinion. I didn't even watch it, so I have no idea. I like it is. And when I said I'm tapping out of this shit, I tapped out. Like, I haven't watched Andor. I haven't watched Skeleton Crew. The last thing I unfortunately subjected myself to was Acolyte, and I wish I hadn't, but I did. Partly because my buddy Static 2020 asked us to, and I believe there's something else coming up that he's going to torture us with. So,
justice in you.
He does what he does. Star Wars Grant says, if these freaks would think Andor is quote unquote good writing, they haven't seen very many good movies. No, they have not then. Star Wars Grant says, I'm glad you didn't say authentic fractured. I'm in, like, I've thought about it too, the way I wanted to describe myself, but it's like everything else left my brain as soon as I started trying to defend myself in my ways.
You know what?
Huh?
We could change it to the authentic black pill.
Well, here, Black Pill Timon. I'll take his word on this. He says Black Pill equal the most honest truth. The red pill not true enough. That's I'm a realist. I see things the way they are. Don't like it? Too bad. Hey, Star Wars.
Just embrace.
Huh?
Just embrace it. Embrace it.
I do, to the most part. Marvel Purist, how's it going, sir? Saying, who says, make sure to hashtag shift the grift. Ah, yes.
What is the definition of a grifter? We use this term. I'm the village idiot of the community here. What is a grifter? For those who may not know, what is a grifter?
Oh God, do we need to? I mean, I look at it like shyster. I go to shyster as kind of your grifter for you to know the terminology. Best, that is.
So they're shyster.
They're a shyster. They're
to equate that into the game.
Disingenuous people that are just doing it for money and stuff like that, not being honest. And hang on, let's go to hang on. Probably the Urban Dictionary would be one good term. Wait for it. Because that term does get.
Power theory at grifter.
I think he could be seen as one. Certainly, the defense writing sort
is our friend that we were talking. Never mind.
But yeah, a grifter is someone who swindles you through deception or fraud. Synonyms include fraudster, con artist. I can't believe the most common definition has been left out. But
Star Wars theory with his lightsabers.
Let's see. Let's get through some of the chat really quick. Everybody's cheering on Purist being here. Let's go. So pumped. Hey, Brad, Duke Devil 95. How are you doing, Cersei? Oh, great. Another 15-minute argument about Cardassian occupation of Bajor. Why do you think that Adam and I would be okay with Wookiee enslavement?
He did hear it. He did hear it.
His ears were burning.
I have not fully prepared my argument, so I think we should take a short recess and reconvene when the judge is done eating.
We'll reconvene. We'll reconnoiter.
Take a 15-minute recess if we could, please.
Oh, that's what it was. Duke Devil pointed out as Ironheart. God damn it. 3-episode release very soon, he says. No! Star Wars Grant says grifters are normies. You could kind of point in that direction too.
Love it. What's a normie?
Oh God. I mean, it's basically people that are, like they point out, fake fans, people that don't know the actual information of, XYZ. They're often like it is like every time a new Marvel thing drops, suddenly the normie crowd comes out that they suddenly know all the information on X character, but only because they read the Wikipedias and stuff, and that's all they're regurgitating.
Literally Star Wars theory.
Right.
Yes, Marvel Appears literally called him out. He was plagiarizing whatever his lore content, his lore videos.
Right.
So he's a normie. He's a normal grifter.
I kind of like yours with the shyster. I kind of like calling people shysters more now.
Well, I do, but a lot of people don't know what a shyster is.
That's fair.
They're disreputable shysters.
So Nerdy Neo says, I define it as someone who pushes something they don't actually believe in, or for the sake of profit. Oh, they don't actually believe in for the sake of profit, right? So yeah.
Well, then there's no way. Then Star Wars theory has to be grifter, because there's no way that he can believe what he cannot believe he cannot drink his own Kool-Aid. Makes no sense.
And Star Wars Grant is backing up that theory as a grifter. And hello, who drank my beer? This is cringe AF. Well, that's like your opinion, man. But hey, if you want to hang around and listen to more, by all means, or there's the door.
What's cringe? What's he saying? What's cringe?
Either our conversation on Anbor or other things. I don't know, but like it is. Star Wars Marvel Pure says, or gets paid to promote said action, whether through direct money or alternative compensation. Nerdy Neo says,
meaning like, kind of like, well, I would say, what's the Pablo? What's the dude, the Mando guy?
Oh, Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, so like alternate compensation, like being in more movies or being like the golden child, golden boy,
right?
The savior.
The savior. Nerdy Neo says, in my opinion, most people who call someone a grifter aren't using the term correctly. Yeah, like I said, it all gets thrown around. It all gets thrown around at this point.
Well, that's what I wanted to know, because I genuinely.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
Well versed in our community, so yeah, I don't want to call somebody a grifter if I don't know what it is.
I say stick with the terminology you know best.
Shyster.
Exactly. Nerdy Neo says, and conflate it with just someone they don't like. That too. Yeah, that's the throwing the term around so loosely. And Star Wars Grant is saying, yes, theory is a normie as well. Nerdy Neo got the Pedro Pascal. Thank you, sir, for helping out with that one because I wasn't 100% sure. Hello, Jordan Star Wars. How's it going? Saying greeting to Star Wars Scran, purists, and us, and everyone. I've been doing phenomenal. Just watching some more sports conservative news, reading some more comics. There you go.
Hopefully it's good comics.
Hopefully so. Hopefully so. Okay. Well, I've got a couple of big topics. Well, I've got certainly, I know you asked me to look into this.
Oh yeah, did you find it?
So I found some stuff.
Verifiable.
Yeah, Nerdy Neo, I do the same thing. He says, but I often get him mixed up with Pablo Hidalgo too. The names. The names I get mixed up very easily. So yeah, I'm with you right there, Nerdy.
I was actually that's funny, Nerdy brought that up because I was actually thinking Pablo Hidalgo. Is he? What is he? He's involved in Star Wars, is he not?
He is he's like the lore master for Lucasfilm, basically, in terms of Star Wars, and he does know his shit. He's just also a good little corpo cocksucker, and plays the game.
I don't understand how that works. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Well, like it's
you're either a John Jackson Miller or a Timothy Zahn, or you're not. I don't see how you can't stand up while you're bending down. You can't stand up while you're kneeling down. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't make any sense.
No, I know. Backseater says grifter is just shorthand for person I don't like who's making more money than me.
Okay, so what about the people that Grizzy always calls out?
Those are those are like the shills. I would call them the corporate cocksuckers. Just the people that are really just, they're bandwagoning hard to popular property in order to get their own piece of the pie, essentially, to get their own clout, their own fame by, needlessly praising something that does not certainly deserve praise.
Okay, you're gonna get your money's worth today. What about the seals that Raging Rhino would post about? Or I guess maybe seal?
They're effectively the same thing. Shill, seals. It's just that's what he likes calling them, and has the seal clapping.
Okay. So somebody that's basically just shelling out support for.
Yeah, like I said, for whatever multitude of reasons, it could be genuine, it could be just for, again, the clout chasing, the fame. Yeah, it's a negative connotation.
When we were reviewing the Galaxy, was it the Galaxy Star Cruiser?
Oh, the Galaxy's Edge stuff, yeah.
Yeah, the Star Cruiser, whatever it was. The guy that was watching the show with Ray, he's like, "Ray, we love you, Ray." I would assume that's a
seal. That's your shill, your seal.
Okay. Huh. We should have a word of the week. Word of the week for people to be well informed.
And you know what? I'll give you that task.
I think so. I think I'll look into it.
Marvel Purist disagrees a bit, saying that's incorrect and dumbing it down, Backseater, for the person I don't like for grifter, which, I mean, let's face it, it has been used that way towards people, though. Some people just throw it out, and some people are legitimately using it. It's an unfortunate thing, but you gotta make that kind of clarification at times. Marvel Pure says, "Hey, corporate cocksuckers, trademark the fractured filter." Backseater says, "The word of the day is regal." Regal. There we go. Okay. So
like a regal grifter.
There you go. This is something that Hitman and I talked about yesterday, that he's like, get on it, basically. So I was like, okay, I'll start plucking around, and I had already kind of saved a couple of things in regards to this topic, and this is gonna be on the whole right now. Some of the buzz of the Nintendo Switch 2 and what's been coming out with all of that information, because he was interested in the sales numbers and stuff like that. So I found a couple of things to go off of. It's as recent as I could possibly find. Maybe there might be more, but like it is, they're gonna probably wait a little bit before they get the next fiscal sales and stuff like that.
Very curious as to where you found the numbers. I found something on Twitter, but I don't know if it was how accurate.
Well, that's been my kind of thing too, is I've been trying to avoid the either some of the niche gamer or bounding into comics and stuff like that. Some of those places I've been trying to go to what I guess is quote unquote universally deemed as like official news. And like it is most of the, I mean, they have their side of it. Their God, my brain is not functioning to forgetting the word properly, but
are they woke?
No,
like IGN?
No, not like that necessarily. It's just God, I'm trying to look for the right word, but I'm missing but regardless of any of that, I tried looking for what would be considered, like I said, kind of more official, quote unquote official news outlets just to go off of. And I mean, like I said, they're most likely sourcing these people too. So here's the first one that I did dig up. This is on CNBC. For U.S. online stores put out of stock signs as Nintendo Switch 2 sales hit record highs. But yeah, so the big point to this is that, yeah, Nintendo sold more than 3.5 million units of its flagship Switch 2 gaming system in the 4 days following its launch, with online stores of major U.S. retailers putting up quote-unquote out-of-stock signs. The record-breaking start for the company's first new console in 8 years puts Nintendo on path to realizing its aim of selling 15 million units of the Switch 2 console in the fiscal year ending March 2026. However, analysts continue to believe that those expectations are modest and forecast the strong initial demand to sustain. Quote, the market expected a record from Nintendo, and as it turns out, Nintendo delivered. Serkan Toto, CEO and founder of gaming industry consultancy Canton Games, told CNBC, all signals prior to launch pointed to significant demand, and I believe we will see further records broken over the next 2 weeks, or over the next weeks or month, he added. And I can only go off of, certainly what we've seen in our own retail store that I work, and the demand is still high. I certainly have plenty of people asking for these things when they're coming in and stuff like that. Because like it was,
those people are resellers. No.
Well, no, the people that I've at least encountered are also, I sometimes hate using the term, but gamers, and also just people trying to get the consoles maybe for their grandkids or whatever, or for their kids and stuff like that. So it from the most part, what I've sourced of people, it's been like legitimate people wanting to get the system. Maybe they skipped out on the Switch on the original Switch, and now they're looking to get the Switch 2. And speaking of that, Melissa Lord, she says Nintendo bricking Switches, LOL, no mods or else. Yeah, there's gonna be some extra little things I've got in regards to the Switch's performance. So don't worry, I've got that covered. Well, we're gonna kind of cover a few things. This might be a bit of a bigger segment than just going through like some of the articles and stuff. So, but yeah, I guess Toto maintains that the Switch 2 will sell over 20 million units in its first 12 months. David Gibson, senior research analyst in MST Financial, told CNBC that he expects 20 million sales for the year ending March 2026. The funny thing is, though, with the Switch 2, is that I've even had what, like it is, since now you're kind of up on the some terminology, the normies, certainly people that I wouldn't expect to possibly know this information, but there are people that are aware too that not all of the physical cartridge games of the Nintendo Switch are, as Melissa Lord even points out, those digital key card cartridges aren't helping. Those are not real physical copies. And I've been running into people that have pointed this out and are aware of it. So even the regular consumer is amazingly like waking up to it a bit. They're becoming a bit aware, which is good. It was a little bit, I need a little more of a basis for this. So I've only had a couple of people bring it up, but it has been kind of the thing. And yeah, as Timon points out, no one owns their Switch 2, because like it was upon launch, people that allegedly got their consoles early could not do anything with it. It was effectively like a paperweight. It wasn't until launch day when it would then, when you connected it to the internet, got it activated, then you were able to do it. But before that, you weren't able to, unless maybe somehow somebody did maybe crack the time code or something like that to move the days forward for it. But I doubt that was the case, because I think then you'd have to actually get the system set up to do any of that.
So wrong, man.
No,
so shystery.
No, I agree.
It's like they're in control of you being able to play it or not play it. It's like on their time, not yours.
Exactly, and that's kind of the thing too with all of this, is that, in my opinion, is like the consoles were always meant to be, kind of open and play. Like you get it out of the box, you plug it up to your TV, away you go. It'd be more of things like computers that, yes, needed a little more tweaking or setting up and stuff like that. But consoles were, to me, always kind of meant to be the plug and play. Very simple, straightforward. Boom. You're off to the races to have fun playing video games. But
it's
now,
literally, you pay them $500 and you don't own a single thing. No different than kind of back in the day, you would lease a phone, right? Well, that leasing is probably a bad example, because it's like you buy the console, but they control when they turn it on.
Right.
Even eventually they will, but it's still the concept of like they have. Probably not explaining this right, but I just don't like that. If I'm gonna buy something, like
you should have that ownership of it. You should be able to play it, use it as you see fit. So, yeah, no, I agree with you. That should absolutely be the thing. But yeah, I guess the Switch 2 was released on June 5th, as we know, has been met with much fanfare, with people lining up for hours ahead of midnight release at Nintendo stores. Quote, fans around the world are showing their enthusiasm for Nintendo Switch 2 as an upgraded way to play at home and on the go. Nintendo of America President and Chief Operating Officer Doug Bowser, oh boy, said in a statement, adding the company was thankful for the response. Tokyo listed shares of Nintendo, which have gained nearly 30% so far this year, were down 3.5% on Wednesday. LSEG data showed the company has seen its shares rise nearly fivefold since the original Switch debuted in early March 2017. That's crazy that it's been that long. It remains to be seen if the Switch 2 can recapture the magic of its predecessor, which had set the bar with 15 million unit sales in its first year. So that's what they're up against as well. It's going to be a curious thing because I've been seeing only limited quantities coming through, certainly to our store. And I don't know if that's going to be the trend. And I don't know if they're also trying to push people more towards, if they're trying to push people more towards the bundle. Because like it is, like I've seen for our stock, the next batch to come in is a majority of the $500 one and a lesser quantity of the $449 one. So that'll be very curious. So I guess the shortages, record initial sales of the Switch are in line with the strong demand analysis had predicted. However, the rush has put into question Nintendo's ability to meet demand. They did this last time too. Retailers including Walmart, GameStop, Target, and Best Buy were out of stock of the consoles. Their online stores showed Wednesday. In April, Nintendo's Bowser told CNBC that the company had been working with the retail partners to ensure there's an ample supply for not only the launch weekend, but well beyond. However, Nintendo President Shuntaro Furukawa stated the same month that 2.2 million people in Japan had entered the lottery to purchase the Switch 2 on launch day, exceeding expectations and what the company had initially planned to deliver to stores. Kantan Games Toto said shortages in Japan were expected to persist, but would be less impactful elsewhere. And that's the thing. There's two different versions. There's the version everyone else is getting, and then there's the version Japan is getting. And that's kind of the funny thing about this. And they're also getting less of the stock. You'd think there would be more home turf demand. Cheaper console for one. But I think it was missing certain features. Oh, it was region locked to Japanese only, if I remember right. While the other ones,
the VPN.
Yeah, if I remember right. I'm trying to remember because we covered it a while back. And I don't remember all the exact differences. Let's see. Except for Japan, where demand for Switch 2 is extraordinarily high, it looks like fans who really want the console and invest time in trying to secure one actually can get one, he said. It might take a while, but as far as can be monitored, supply seems to be more robust than around the launch of the original Switch in 2017. This is going to be... So, yeah, President Donald Trump's reciprocal tariffs on most countries around the world also present headwinds for the Switch 2. April, the company announced that it would delay pre-orders of the Switch 2 in the US while it considers impact of tariffs, which I'm guessing is not quite the case anymore. Switch 2 retailers for $449 in the US, which makes it Nintendo's priciest console to date. Nintendo's Bowser said in April the company was going to monitor where tariffs are going before making any further decisions on price hikes. So expect those. Go ahead.
Well, he mentioned price hikes. You mean that he would raise them higher than the 150 or 190 that's already been added to it?
Right. If there was something to do with the tariffs and stuff like that, if they found it,
I'm sorry. It's what, 150 then?
What do you
mean? OLED's 350. Well, the Switch 2 again. What is the
Switch? Yeah, the Switch 2 for just the basic console is $449. The Switch 2 bundled with Mario Kart World is $500.
Yeah. So without, and I don't want to go on a tangent here, but I just have a really hard time with that price point. One, because we didn't know what any of the specs were, and two, I don't consider it a home gaming system. I consider it handheld. And I get into arguments with people all the time about this. It's like, oh no, it is a home console. It's like I don't see it like that. and I never have. I play my Switch handheld.
Yeah, you play it more on the go, sort of.
But I play my Xbox on TV. You know why? Because it's a gaming console, home console. I can't take my Xbox anywhere. So,
like I can kind of see what you're talking about, but the thing is that it befits whatever you want to do with it.
Yeah, but again, on the side note, there's no justification for it. Is the screen bigger? Is the processes? Again, like that's the problem I have with it, and more so, and then I'll be quiet.
It's okay.
Greg Gals are coming out and saying like we know families aren't going to be able to afford this.
Yeah, the old what Microsoft did with the Xbox. Well, if you can't get a Xbox One, you can still play on your 360.
Right. That's the problem I have. So.
No, I understand.
It's a very shy thing to do.
Agreed. And then here's the next article here. So, and this will probably be the kind of, because this is gonna be reiterating. Wait, did I just pick up the same thing twice? Yeah, hang on. Wrong one. Wait, I thought that was because they've been talking about, I had an article that was talking about 74% of people went for the Switch bundle. Where did I could have sworn I saved that article, which I thought was an interesting statement for it. Record sales, that's that one. Oh, here we go. Sorry about that. Okay. So yeah, Nintendo Switch 2 beats PS4 to set sales record in the US with Mario Kart World, Cyberpunk 2077, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom as its best-selling games. 79% of buyers also picked up Mario Kart World. Wait, I don't know if that's saying that they got it separately and then got the game? Hang on. So, Nintendo Switch 2 is always going to enjoy a big launch. It was coming out alongside Mario Kart World after all. Oh boy. So yeah, take this for what you will, I suppose. But over on Blue Sky, Circana analyst Matt Piscatella revealed that the Nintendo Switch 2 set a new all-time launch week. Video game hardware in the US with over 1.1 million units sold during the first week ending June 7th. Switch 2 to make matters even more impressive, that doesn't include the sales made from my Nintendo store. So I think the CNBC one must be more up. But on the actual games, Piscatella said that 79% of US Nintendo Switch buyers also purchased Mario Kart World either physically or as part of the Mario Kart World 2 Switch hardware bundle. Circana's data doesn't include digital sales for the Nintendo Switch game, so the attach rate is likely even higher. Cyberpunk 2077 and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom round out the launch week's top 3 best-selling games, though Nintendo itself hasn't revealed solid numbers for any software. So their forecast is to sell 15 million in its first year. So that's kind of what we talked about already with the CNBC article. So that I thought was interesting, I guess. What else were you gonna go for when that was it's kind of your option of either game, no game for the system, and you kind of get it a little bit cheaper than if you were to buy the game separately. So that
is just outrageous, man.
One way or another, it's just highway robbery.
and the fact that people are
And the
doing it
people
is
will
crazy.
pay
It's
it.
like, well, but here's the thing, man. Like Xbox games are no different. Like it, we're older, so we remember how much Nintendo, Sega games were, Nintendo 64 games, GameCube, all that kind of stuff. But I remember when games were the price point was, between $49.99 and $59.99. I think I remember when they were at $39.99.
It
for
depended
Xbox
on the
games.
game. It could depend on the game sometimes.
It did. But then I think, once Call of Duty, I don't have any evidence to this, but only based off my recollection. But it's like when Call of Duty became really popular after Black Ops, I feel like games were at the $79.99 mark.
Right.
And
They
then
kind
the
of set a
deluxe-
standard for it.
Right. And so this whole microtransaction shenanigans DLC crap is just it's highly it's shystery, man.
No, it is.
We're gonna get $99.99 for the Vault Edition. We're just gonna add a little bit more features that nobody else has. Like I get it, games for a long time have had DLC, but I just feel like there's this overarching I don't even know what to call it, to where they've almost embedded it into the culture of gaming. Like,
Yeah.
hey, you want DLC? I get it. I get wanting extra maps and whatnot, but you go from $79.99 to $99.99, which is $20 for what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's become the normal.
It has.
Normal.
Well, and it's kind of funny with gaming. In the regards of the term from MMOs, it's a money sink. It's become nothing but a money sink.
To look at it like that, though, even whether it be, and I can't speak for PlayStation because I play real console. I don't know if PlayStation does the same thing as far as the price gouging, but it's one thing for Microsoft to go from $79.99 to a $99.99 with a DLC, right? You're going from a $59.99 price point, which the most expensive game I've seen for the Switch thus far is Tears of the Kingdom, which is at a $69.99 price point. So anyways, you got $59.99 price point for the Switch, and then yes, I understand the Switch 2 comes out, but you jump $40. About right, 30, 39, whatever it is from 59 did not, was that $49? I'm bad at math. $59.99 to 90 for the digital, which is the 90.
Yeah.
And then hardcover, or the actual physical, is 80. So I guess maybe it rounds up to be about the same. Is my math wrong?
I mean, give her a few.
$20. So I guess I was prepared to say like Nintendo's charging a little bit more, but not really. But the difference is, though, with Microsoft, when you go from a $79.99 game to a $99 game, typically you have DLC. I don't think you're getting anything from Mario World, right?
Mario Kart World?
Yeah, that's just their price point for the game. Is $80 physical and 90 digital, which is absolutely asinine and stupid. It should be the reverse.
I don't know if that was the final verdict on that. Hang on,
Well, I'm just saying the games in general are going to be $90 for digital, $80 for physical, opposed to your Switch 1 games, which
I think people are waiting for GTA 6 to see what kind of where a lot of that's going to go.
The price point?
Yes.
You don't think it's so? I read an article, or I thought we read an article where they were very firm on the digital 90, physical 80.
No, like we just read from the Bowser guy. They were waiting on. Yeah, Nerdy Neo says the 90 digital version was not true. They were also waiting on like all this tariff stuff too, on what price points were going to be what. But a lot of people are theorizing that it's going to be more Grand Theft Auto 6 and Elder Scrolls is going to be some of the determining what's going to be the next price point. If they're going to try and push that $100, excuse me, $100 marker for games. So, yeah.
Which is just crazy.
So yeah,
hey, man, capitalism at its finest.
So yeah, I'm even looking at for you to see too.
Where did I hear that from? Because we had talked about
we
that,
did see it in we did see it being theorized in an article, yes, or they were talking about it in an article, or we were just talking about it. I forget which, but yeah, like you can see here, even on the Nintendo site, digital $79.99, physical $79.99 as well. They're both the same price. So
I still feel like that's a lot of money for a small little USB drive.
Well, I think for digital, it should be also cheaper. So
think about that though. Like going from, I mean, it's apples to oranges, but go from a disc to a little, like a smaller chip.
Yeah.
I want to know what their cost is and what their markup is, because obviously they're making it either Japan or China, like wherever these games are being manufactured. But like to know what their revenue is, one, their customer acquisition, which I don't know if that's technically a thing with Nintendo because they already have established customers, but like their markup.
Yeah. If
they cost them let's say it costs them $10 to make a game, or whether it's $10, $5, or 10 cents, and they sell it for $79. You're the math guy of the duo.
No, I'm not. Don't do that to me.
It's a lot. That's a lot of revenue. And so if that's the case, and again, we don't know, but it was just theorizing that their markups, or if they're making that much profit and yet they're still charging $500, like, again, it's capitalism, man. It's maximizing your revenue, but there has to be a point.
Supply and demand.
As much as I would want to be in business and make money, you also don't want to screw over your clientele and be super greedy,
right? Because especially if you've established a certain familiarity or rapport and everything like that, you don't.
If you look at the demographic, if you look at the household income, the home in I don't know what it's titled, but if you look at the average American household income throughout a year, right, after taxes and cost of living, food, gas, all that kind of stuff, people will make a way to spend the $500, right? Because we're creatures, we want what we want, right? But
yeah,
it's an expensive console for just a handheld. And the thing is, and I will yield the floor, is like we talked about, Jay Hitman, you said you're gonna buy a Steam Deck. Yeah, I would buy a Steam Deck because in my mind, not being a computer guy, I'm not. That price point seems justified. One, because I can already play games that I have on Steam.
Right.
So I don't have to pay for backwards compatibility like I would with the Switch 2.
Right.
The memory is, well, I know what the memory is on the Switch, so I can only imagine it's probably not going to be that much more than the Switch 2, I mean. But I know the memory that you get from the Steam Deck, just the versatility, and it's basically what I'm trying to say is I would be justified spending that because you know what you're getting, right? It is a computer in your hand, essentially, for gaming.
And if I remember right, too, yeah, the Steam Deck, they offer you 3 different versions. The Steam Deck, as I recall, has more capacity than the Switch 2.
Yeah, but again, they're not. That is reputable. That is more honorable than Nintendo because they're giving you 3 different options, right? They give you kind of like a base model, a little bit, middle, and then the top tier, right?
Oh, okay. I misspoke. They're about the same. But the Steam Deck is still cheaper. The Steam Deck also, the LCD, right. They're both LCD screens, but the Steam Deck is at $399, which here we go. Again, we're going to exactly, Soul Assassin. Kyle Katarn is paid to steal plans, not do math. But yeah, so like it is the Steam Deck. We're going back to this as always. Starting point with the LCD screen, 256 gigabytes, which is the same as the onboard memory for the Switch 2. I believe. Let's see. Just double checking myself. I'm pretty sure I just saw it. Because yeah, they're both LCD screens. Which
I thought the Steam Deck offered a different screen.
They do. If you can see it in oh, no you can't. Hang on. There, now you should be able to see it. So yeah, the Steam Deck has 3 different versions. They have the OLEDs for the other 2 higher capacities and everything. But like it is too, the Steam Decks offer modability on a Linux operating system, so you can do a lot more with it than you can.
You can never mod a Switch.
You can't. It'll brick the system. It'll brick the system, as Melissa Lord pointed out earlier. Turn it into a paperweight. Like it'll just cease to function. If you try to go against the terms of service and stuff like that. So yes, it'll make it so you potentially cannot use it ever again.
Yeah. I don't mean to keep going back to this, but I really want people to know, like, if you, and again, I have a Switch one. I did. Paid $350 for it. Still think $350 is a better price than $490.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just curious. So they're trying to shoot for 15 million within the first fiscal year.
Right.
I'm surprised they weren't trying to do that within the first month. They should have sold 15 million in Japan alone the first day.
Right. But here's the thing. The original Nintendo Switch's biggest flaw is already happening on the Switch 2.
The Joy-Cons.
Yes. So the Nintendo Switch owners are sadly reporting the return of a glaring hardware issue that previously plagued the original Switch console's longevity. And it's a disappointing recurrence that many fans hoped would never return. The first Switch console was released worldwide 2017. After months of excitement and relentless rumors, the Nintendo Switch 2 is finally announced January 2025, followed by so posted on Reddit by Nearly Crossing. A short video was uploaded to the Switch subreddit, seemingly reporting one of the first cases of stick drift in the Switch 2. The user noted the console was fresh out of the box, and they managed to play Mario Kart World successfully, despite the left Joy-Con underperforming. Before the stick got worse and started pushing right, unlike Mario Kart World's drift feature that helps players win races, Switch 2's Joy-Con drift is sadly on track to repeat previous consoles' issue on a widespread scale. And here's the video here. Let me make sure that it can be heard. Okay. Well, I guess so. You can see it performing here. And you'll even see it's off center. From the test. So you're already starting to see that. Another initial case of the Switch 2 Joy-Con drift came from Redditor What my teeth? Who also reported their stick was loose and suffered from drift after unpackaging the item as well. Nintendo fans were understandably disheartened by the returning issue. Redditors noted it was very disappointing to start the Switch 2's run. Additionally, part of the community remained hopeful. The Nintendo owners always will. When the presumed an OLED version of the Switch 2 comes out, successor's console drift doesn't come as a major shock. However, as a Nintendo developer previously remained tight-lipped on whether the Switch 2 would address the drift issue. You should not have to be waiting for a whole new iteration, it's like a new upgraded version of the damn console just to get the freaking controllers to work right. That should not be a thing. And you should not be accepting of that or going, oh, shucks. Well, I guess I'll just wait for that to come along. Darn. Like, this is the sad state of things for gaming. You can call me black-pilled and all that crap, but it's like, this is literally what's happening, and people just let these companies get away with this shit. So I don't understand. Again, like I've said this already a bunch of times, I don't understand how anybody can still remain any degree of loyal to any goddamn company out there. Holy shit. So yes, so that's definitely one of the issues that is still plaguing the Switch console. 2 or 1, it don't matter. There are other issues that I've been finding it regarding the console. So let's see. So God dang it. Trying to figure out how to do this here. Let's see. Oh, I know what I'll do. Hang on. Oops. Okay. Let's go out of this. Grab this. Bada boom, bada bing. I'll hush you. Here we go. Hopefully this will let me pull this, get this on the screen. Go away. All right. Go away. There we go. Okay. Oh, you go away. Oh, come on. Let me, there we go. Full screen. There we go. There we go. So I found this also. Oops. There we go. From a Facebook group page saying, I from this Nintendo Switch community, I'm having problems with my Switch 2. Is anyone else experiencing this while playing in TV mode? It will randomly shut off, crash, reset. I also got this error code once. Can anyone help? Update, I've exchanged it so far, working good, thanks. Still gave me kind of advice. And people have been confirming this as an overheating in the dock. Which again should not be. Timon, I think this is kind of what you're talking about. Reports of bloated batteries as well, and damaged screens caused by the dock. Not just the GameStop employees. But yeah, people in the comments were going on about this. With this one, really just made me like just go, what are you really willing to like just kind of just lower the output to 720p or use it only in handheld mode? Just wait for a dock update, guys. They are aware of the issue and working hard to resolve it. Everybody gave a ton of shit to, I believe it was either Sony or is for the PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360. I believe it's the PlayStation 3 though, where people had it like next to like either certain things of either like like window blinds and stuff like that, but we're melting plastic because of the hot air it was producing from it. And that again should not be part of it. Where was like any of the testing that should have gone into this console? You should not be saying, oh, just do this. Your console should be working out the gate, if anything. So I just found it rather funny, and even this little group there, they're very much copying to Nintendo and giving them their outs, their explanations, basically them explaining it away for Nintendo. Then this, I found this this person on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it anymore. Twitter.
Warzone.
I know, Nerdy Neo, how silly of me. He says you expect a multi-billion-dollar company to QA their products. Wacky, right? I know. So bizarre. Timon points out Xbox had the heating problem. People fixed it by drilling holes on it. Again, not should be something that people have to do. Like, come on. Anyway. All right, so here's this next one. Like I said, I found this guy on Twitter. He seems to do tests of this sort of nature, of testing like handheld hardware and stuff like that. It's Taki Udon, reviews on everything handheld with a mix of posts on products development, and co-founder of R2, which I don't recall what that is. But so yeah, saying, is it just me? Or is the Switch 2 incredibly buggy? I'm on my 7th hard crash / system freeze in 10 hours. I just had the entire system stall out while idling in Super Mario RPG. I started recording as the audio cut out. I'm used to jank on a product launch, but this is getting annoying. And here we'll play this. Let me make sure. Here we go.
So I was just filming, I was just getting ready for another scene. I had this thing idling here, and the audio stopped. So
you had a hard crash.
And it actually like almost caught something on footage. You can see nothing is working. If I pull out the controller, it doesn't show that it's able to connect. So that one's not connected. This other side is not connected. We press the power button, it doesn't work. So I was just...
Could you imagine that though? Like, you are excited getting a brand new console and it's already having performance issues. And this is a previous generation game which is supposed to meant to be able to play. The Switch 2 is backwards compatible for Switch 1 games. But here you have it crashing with the Super Mario RPG from the Switch 1. And this isn't I'm going to get to another thing. It's not just with the older games. It's happening with it's happened for some people with Mario Kart World and the games that are released for the Switch 2. So this isn't a backwards compatibility issue. Also says 14 crashes so far. At least I know formatting won't fix it. And it has a Reddit page for that. Update. 17 crashes while filming a review. eShop, main menus, Switch 1 games, Switch 2 editions, and Switch 2 Welcome Tour. Mario Kart World Tour is the only game that doesn't seem to crash the console. I already planned to get a second unit for a screen mod R&D, so I'll just make that one the daily driver. That's again like baffling to me. Nobody should be having to do anything like that for the Switch, for this console. So that was certainly some of the stuff that's been happening for people. I had shared this, and I'd asked Melee Games because I know they've got the Switch 2, and then I asked them. He said last night on stream, one game, Rose and Camellia, was crashing repeatedly. Overall, it works, but Switch 1 games that don't have updates seem to look worse. So it's a Mario Kart machine at the moment. And I like pointed out to him that about how the Switch games are looking, and I was seeing the drift problem also. And I can only just, say it sucks because it does, but yeah. But like it is, that's also been part of that issue going on. Oops. Sorry. And so that is basically the whole tidbits of what I did for some quick, hunting down on the Switch 2, the Switch's problems right now, what they're looking at in terms of. So, I mean, I know there's going to be people that are like, well, it works fine for me. And that's fantastic. Glad that your investment in this machine has paid off. Awesome. But, you also can't just ignore the other. You could call them a vocal minority maybe, but people are reporting these problems, calling it out and everything. You shouldn't just go on full defense mode for the freaking giant, the giant corporation, because otherwise they're gonna see that as, oh, it's acceptable for us to do this. We'll just keep doing this then. Ha 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 ha. Anyway, your thoughts so far? Your thoughts with all this, Hitman?
Well, yeah, I had heard that they were using the same Joy-Cons as the Switch One, and the Joy-Cons for the Switch One have the stick drift,
right?
And it's kind of like the Red Ring of Doom.
Once God, happens, yeah.
Then you're done. And furthermore, I was told by a buddy of mine that Nintendo has a warranty, like a lifetime warranty on it, or a warranty on the Joy-Cons.
Yeah, I believe there was some kind of like lawsuit back in the day that now they have to replace them for free.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, if you know that they're an issue, why are you producing them?
Exactly.
Fix them. It's just costing you more money in the long run by, selling a subpar. And that's the thing, because you wouldn't think like this. I think what's so irritating about this article is, again, maybe it's just nostalgia. Maybe I'm just trying to defend my childhood, but I didn't have a lot of problems with Nintendo product growing up.
No, never.
Goodness, to fix a cartridge, you didn't have to send it in. You just blew on it. And if Nintendo didn't turn on, you just hit it.
Or got rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip and cleaned out the games, and bada boom, bada bing, away you went.
Yeah. I was lazy. I never did that. But and furthermore, if it didn't turn on, you just hit it.
Well, sometimes violencing technology doesn't always work, but I'm glad it worked for you.
I never had a problem with my Game Boy Color or my Game Boy. I mean, that thing was a brick, and you couldn't throw it because if you threw it, you would damage the wall.
Right.
So it's so frustrating, yet I guess expected to see that Nintendo kind of is falling into the swamp that is Microsoft and PlayStation, where we're releasing subpar systems, and relying on, once again, but this guy, he couldn't even rely on a batch. It was just straight botched, and that's what they sold. And I get, anytime you manufacture something in mass, in mass quantity, or there's always the potential to have a bad one.
Yeah.
But when those are not too and far between, come on.
No, it's
bad, and that you should take no different than Nintendo has really taken pride in their games. They should take pride in their consoles, and I don't know if it's a cultural thing. We're gonna try to cut every cost we can. I don't know what it is, man. This is unbecoming of Nintendo. I would expect this from Microsoft because they play in the mud. I would expect this from PlayStation, because if Microsoft's playing in the mud, then PlayStation's playing in the swamp.
Right.
I'm halfway joking, but no, that's something that you wouldn't expect from Nintendo, and it's crazy. It's $500 console for the same Joy-Cons that the Switch One had. Not
Isn't
even Microsoft even do that. Microsoft even do that from the Xbox Series X, like the new Xbox Series X didn't have the same controllers as the last Xbox. They were brand new controllers. They were the Elite controllers.
Yeah, they made all new controllers.
So at least you got a new controller out of the deal with a new console.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, like it is like when it's come to the Microsoft controllers, I've been pretty satisfied with what I've used. So
those are my thoughts. I'm just done with Nintendo. Well, no, I can't say that because I'll still continue to play my Switch. I'm no better than,
Well, you're just your Switch is gonna be probably your last Nintendo consoles.
Yeah,
is
I
all
won't,
your
I won't,
yeah.
No, I won't buy. I won't buy it. Yeah. That's,
Well,
that's
and if anything, I want to get more out of my Switch, and if anything, I'm going to start going to the local game shop. Not GameStop, but I know there's a local game store, not to where I am, but more near where we work. But there's a game store that does resells of used games and stuff like that. That's what I'm going to start doing. I'm just going to start going directly to them. Give it, at least then that gives them money for their local business, and it doesn't give money to Nintendo. And I'm, getting some old games to play, old quote unquote, but still then at least getting some use out of my Switch while at the same time not giving them a freaking dime more than I have to. So yep, it's unfortunate.
And they're magnetic, which is crazy to think of it. Think of that as well.
It kind of is, isn't it?
I want something that's gonna be stable, man. Like I get violent playing Mario Kart. I get mad. I don't get mad. I don't get mad. I get even. But yeah, I want something that's like gonna be like feel like stable.
Yeah.
If they're magnetic, I'm gonna feel like, oh, I'm gonna break this thing. And there's no worse feeling than feeling like you're gonna break a $500.
Exactly. Yeah. So that is the rundown for Nintendo's Switch 2.
Yeah.
RIP. All right. Hello. So let's get to the chat really quick. We got Brandon Tran. Hello. Saying hello there, Fractured Filter and Jay Hitman. Hope you guys are having a great day. Hello. Good to see you, sir. We talked last week how we haven't seen you around. Hope you're doing well. And speaking, let me get to some of his chats in here, and I'll go back to everyone else. Said, don't know if you're familiar with the video game director Hideo Kojima. Oh, I'm very well aware. Who made Metal Gear Solid for Konami and the popular game Death Stranding. Did you see a fake article announced that he died? No, I did not. There's been so much else popping off, especially on my Twitter feed, that I have not seen that. No. While I think he's a twat, that could have been a sad day for gaming, but it's fake, so it doesn't matter. And I did see another.
You think that guy? You don't like that guy?
Kojima, I am very mixed with nowadays.
You have always defended him.
I've defended the games.
Blackpilled.
You know it. And then he
why? Hold on.
Why?
If you're gonna defend the game, you have to defend the creator.
I did defend the game and the creator, yes.
But now it's just the creator, or now it's just the game, not the creator.
No, we've talked about this with my love-hate relationship with some of the Metal Gear Solid games. Or maybe I've talked about it while I've been playing other games, and Dan Blackroyd comes in and I started going into it because I did play Metal Gear Solid 2 on stream for, oh god, I think it was some day. But I've been while I was playing the Lego Batman game, we somehow got onto the conversation about Metal Gear Solid, I think because of Metal Gear Solid Delta. So yeah, I have a real love-hate relationship with the Metal Gear franchise. To me, Metal Gear Solids 1 through 3 are peak. Those are the best of the bunch. The MSX games are difficult but not bad. But those were the start. Those were Metal Gear 1 and 2 were the start. Metal Gear Solid 1 through 3, like I said, peak. But after that, Metal Gear Solid 4 and on was basically Kojima's giant fart sniffing contest. And to me, he lost the plot to some degree because Metal Gear Solid 4 especially was basically an interactive movie. When Metal Gear Solid 3, the emphasis was on gameplay. Yes, it had some long cutscenes, but it at least had a lot of gameplay and a lot of stuff that you could do. Metal Gear Solid 4 was the exact opposite. And there was a lot of stuff talked about that did not deliver. He kind of became like a Peter Molyneux in a sense, for anybody that knows the Fable series and everything else Peter Molyneux has done. But then they basically released a chunk of the game as Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, which was basically the prologue to Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain. And then The Phantom Pain, we got that game and it was missing. It was incomplete, for one. Missing story, missing scenes. The gameplay was like the only solid part about it. Like I would say that is, for gameplay wise, definitely where they refined a lot of stuff, but it was missing so much. And again, yes, after this fact did make me a lot more black-pilled on gaming than I already was, but I was really hyped for Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain. I was really, really hyped. I was looking forward to it.
See why you're mad at him, because it was a nothing burger?
Big freaking nothing burger. I was thinking there was going to be so much to this game. We were going to get so many things answered with Big Boss and the setup to Metal Gear Solids 1 through 3 and everything, because it's basically a prequel game, because we're going through the tales of Big Boss, and it just crapped the bed completely. Like, he was trying to be old meta with the narrative and crap like that. No, fuck off. Tell an actual goddamn story. Don't try and be this freaking weird auteur. You're not that, Kojima. You're not that.
Is Big Boss the guy with the black headband?
Big Boss is the guy with the headband and the eye patch.
I thought that was Snake.
Solid Snake has the bandana, but he does not have an eye patch. Not until Metal Gear Solid 4. But that's not his mate. That's not it. Big Boss is technically the bad guy. From a certain point of view.
Is he legit bad? Is he like legit bad? Or
he more or less became the villain. But I look at it from a certain point of view, sort of thing. But yes, Big Boss is the antagonist. Solid Snake is his clone. And they fought because Big Boss was going to try and nuke the world with Metal Gear. So he's data lore. He's a lore. He's what?
Data.
Oh, okay,
he's lore to data.
Right. So
kind of.
So I have a real God. Yeah, it's
so what if he releases another game and it answers all your questions?
He won't. It'll be under Konami, because he left Konami to do Death Stranding.
That means he can't go back.
I mean, I guess he could. It would be certainly an interesting thing to have happen, but
you don't think he will?
I don't think so. No. Because he's always because the way I've looked at it, he's always wanted to be part of the Hollywood machine. He always has basically wanted to make movies more than video games. So that's what
video games are kind of like movies.
They can be, yes, but the main focus for video games though are gameplay. I'll give you an example.
Gears of War could have been a movie.
I think they're gonna probably try and make a movie.
Right. Halo. Someone could have been a movie.
TV show.
Yeah, that's trash, though, man. He took his helmet. He's never taken his helmet off before. Took it off in the show.
First episode,
Terrible.
I believe.
Yes. You had to beat the game on like legendary, or just to see a reflection of his eyes, or elite, or whatever the top like level was. And that's not verified, mind you. That's just what I had heard.
Yeah.
If you beat it on like elite, legendary, or whatnot, you just see a reflection.
So yeah,
so you hate Konami as much as I hate.
Yeah, I'm more agitated at them. I reserve hate for my enemies, but it's just mere agitation when the potential was there and it got squandered, all because Kojima wanted to inflate the budget by hiring Hollywood actors, because he got Kiefer Sutherland to replace for voicing Big Boss, Venom Snake, and the whole thing. It was stupid. I envisioned the game being so awesome. I envisioned this. Because we got to see a young Liquid Snake. I was wondering if we were going to get how he got introduced to people like Sniper Wolf and Naomi and Gray Fox. Like, there's all this stuff that I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be the game where we get all that those things tied up and stuff. Nope, nothing. A bunch of goofy bullshit with a voice parasite that will take away your language.
You're ready for him to make the game.
What's that?
You're ready for him to make the other game then.
He can go off and have his fun with Death Stranding. I don't care.
You do care. You want the ending that you never got.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna get it. Other than what's in my head. Brandon Tran had asked, don't know if you've seen Spaceballs, the original Star Wars parody, but did you check the official announcement by 98-year-old director and comedian Mel Brooks? I have that on the docket. Yes. So we'll eventually get to that. All right, let me swing back to some of the other chat really quick. Melissa Lorda said, Timon, that's why I'd never buy one. Timon said, Nintendo fans are the most stupid of them all. They're pretty bad. Melissa Lorda says, all companies will eventually bend the knee to the PC master race sooner or later. But do we want that though? Do we really want those primordial ooze Gimboids coming into our happy little playground? I don't think so. Well, they can stay with their consoles. And then
That's rude.
I'm sorry. No, I'm not. Melissa Lord also says, Timon, absolutely. They've always been shitty business practice going back to the 80s for Nintendo. Says Microsoft and Sony probably make one more console each, then stop and just make games and put them on Steam. So they're basically going to go the route of Sega, which isn't, but then that's all we have is Nintendo and PC, which I don't know if that's going to be a good alternative. Like, I don't mind the idea of competitors. It should breed excellence, but it's just not. It's just now getting to apathy. Melissa Lord also said Nintendo is like Disney. They'll be the last ones to have a console, but they too will lose to PC. They will also be forced just to put their games on Steam or make their own Steam-like game service. They would probably make their own Steam-like game service before they bend the knee to Steam. If they give old Gaben that kind of power, whew, game over, man. Game over. Star Wars Marvel purists over on the Rumble side. What's up? What's up? And it said, this fractured filter guy is too toxic for me. Definitely black-pilled. Let's see here. Timon said, I'm moving to PC because buying games on console is more expensive and physical media is basically unaffordable and scarce around here. Ouch, that sucks, dude. Yeah, that's at least like the one benefit for us occasionally is that like I mentioned before, there's game stores around that people start up and that you can at least try and get some decent purchases, especially for at least older games, for physical media games. But it's tough. You're not wrong. It's scarce and it's tough sometimes. Let's see. I got that one. Nerdy Neo said, "Oh, I totally expect them to hit that price at some point, which is the $90 price or whatever for the games." And hello, Star Wars Sublight. How's it going? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the stream. Let's see. Timon says drift because Nintendo still uses cheap analogs. Lord have mercy. Melissa Lord says, if you mod or pirate the Switch with Switch 2, you'll have a $600 paperweight. Fuck Nintendo. Just make another Zelda, you losers. Yeah. Timon says, Nintendo fans are retarded. Agreed. Marvel Pearson said 100. Timon said, yeah, not just the paper clipped screens. What's funny is, I wish I had saved it, but the people have already started to jailbreak and crack the Switch or hack it. So people are on their way. Hello, the Briscoe 1234. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Melissa Lore says, yes, Spaceballs is the greatest parody ever, but Josh Gad is writing Spaceballs too. So I don't have a lot of confidence in that, and it better be called The Search for More. Yeah, it better be. That's like that. That's just like, shooting fish in a barrel for the most obvious thing that you should definitely go for. I think if we don't see that as the undertitle, we know it's doomed. We will know it's doomed. Melissa Lord said, Nintendo is just telling people to go buy or build PC. Jordan Star Wars says, I've been seeing people play Mario Kart World recently on the Nintendo Switch too. Yeah, I was watching the Melee game stream. They were playing it. I mean, it looks like Mario Kart. I don't know what else to really say. I think from what I need to play it. And it looks like the last time they did something slightly different with the Mario Kart formula was Double Dash, where you got to like have a partner on the back of the cart. So, but they haven't even brought that back, which seems weird. Jordan Star Wars says, I've been playing the Lies of P Overture DLC and the Elden Ring Night Rain DLC. I remember Static was playing Liza P and he was really liking it. I don't know if he how much further he got with it. And I've been hearing mixed things about the Elden Ring DLC. I've been hearing like, not good, but Melissa Lord said, and people are retarded buying Switch 2. It's a giant dog turd in its current state. Make them fix it before you give them money. 100%. At least I don't give them any of my money. Yeah. Couldn't agree more. Dan Blackroyd, hello, sir. Hope you're doing well. Says, don't trust the Asians. Hey, hashtag stop the Asian hate, okay? Just because I have my beef with Kojimbo doesn't mean I hate all Asians. Melissa Lord says, Nintendo has had this problem for decades. Make a great console, sell millions, make billions, and then release a piece of shit console for their next one and flop like Flare right on their face. Oh, that's so true, though. That's so true. I'm still pissed about the Wii U. I'm still pissed about that. I should have never have given them my money for the Switch one. I made a mistake.
So, man.
Oh well. Briscoe says, I got the Switch. I got a Switch 2. Haven't opened it yet, and I'm probably gonna return it till they get their shit together. There you go. There you go. Nerdy Neo says, I have Brandon Tran, but not in decades. What? Oh, seen Spaceballs. Briscoe says, I like Kojima, but he is very pretentious. Oh, up his own ass. 100%. Dan Blackrow says Peace Walker is great. That was where it was between that and the portable ops where they started introducing goddamn gameplay mechanics that freaking Kojimbo was talking about with Metal Gear Solid 4. Pissed me off. And I'm sorry, the whole AI boss thing I thought was stupid. Like, no, stop it. And basically then the image they did of Big Boss was that he looked like Che Guevara, for God's sakes. Briscoe says Metal Gear Solid. Huh?
You just need to play it again.
Play what again?
Metal Gear Solid.
I'll play. I plan to play Metal Gear Solid 3 again before Delta comes out. Or at least I'm going to try to.
Maybe Delta will have all your answers.
No, it won't, because this is just a remake of Metal Gear Solid 3.
You never know.
Who knows? Briscoe says Metal Gear Solid 4 was boring. 5 isn't great, but I think it has the best game. I agree. It does. 5 has the best gameplay. It just has a shit story as well. And yeah, Metal Gear Solid 4 was boring. Again, another game I was following it and I was getting psyched for it. I'm like, yes, let's fucking go. Because again, like I mentioned, the gameplay mechanics in Peace Walker and in Metal Gear Solid 5, like the whole being able to like capture enemy troops or gain their favor and stuff like that, they were talking about for Metal Gear Solid 4. Like all of that in like having, working with the infantry and stuff like that. But no, it all got dropped either for multiplayer or some stupid shit else. Pissed me off. Nerdy Neo says, I recently got a Retroid Pocket, which is a handheld emulator, and it's fantastic. I think I've heard of that. Yeah. There's some crazy handhelds out there that are emulators that just do some crazy stuff. But it's really cool that it's out there to do so. And hello, New York, Florida man, saying, what up, fellas? Hello. Hope you're doing well. Briscoe says, why didn't Kojima just start making movies? He should at this point. Fucking hell. Brandon Trent says, if I remember correctly, Hideo Kojima probably left after Konami and is now making Death Stranding Part 2 with actor Norman Reedus, who is Daryl Dixon in The Walking Dead. Yeah. I've heard mixed things on that too with Kojima and Konami. Like, people try and paint Kojima like this poor little struggling artist victim of the big bad company. But last I had heard, he was in a high position at the company and he was expending a lot of resources for his stuff. So I don't know. It sounds like it might have been for the best. And like it is, yeah, he should just be making movies though, because he wants it. He's got his Norman Reedus. He had Mads Mikkelsen in the first Death Stranding and everything. So he's been playing around with all the actors. I think he's going full Hollywood at this point. Nerdy Neo says David Hayter. Not sure if that's spelled right. No, you got it right. Yeah. They got rid of David Hayter for the English side. That's the funny thing with Metal Gear Solid 5. They still had the same Japanese voice actor, but for the Western American release and everything, they replaced David Hayter with Kiefer Sutherland, which, I mean, I sometimes make fun of Hayter for kind of crying about it and all, but like, I get it. Like he was full in on the role. He seemed to enjoy it. He seemed to love it. And it really sucked that we lost his known iconic voice as Solid Snake and Big Boss, all for the big Hollywood guy to come in for it. Dan Blackroyd, where is David Hayter? Well, he's coming back for Metal Gear Solid Delta. So, hey, there you go. Timon says, don't forget the microtransactions and terrible grinding to get the weapons. Oh, yeah, don't remind me. And it says, it's not a matter of choice anymore. I'm migrating to PC because consoles are not an option anymore. No, I get it. I get it, dude. I mean, like it is. I just by happenstance, a friend of mine introduced me to PC gaming and I never left. Like I always tried to keep that toe in the console side, but like it is over the years and everything, it's just like PC just became more of the option. Briscoe says, I'm technologically tarded, so consoles are easier for me. I get that. Well, they used to be. I said it earlier. They were supposed to be the plug and play solution, but they're not anymore. They're just not. They're becoming as much of a pain. They can be as much of a pain in the ass as sometimes PCs can be at times. At times. Timon says Sonic has a new racing game that looks fun, and it includes characters from the other games like Yakuza, Persona, and Hatsune Miku. Oh, huh. Oh, I think I saw something about that. Yeah. And it still seems weird that Sonic needs a vehicle to race when he's like the fastest thing out there. Che Guevara. Oh, I'm sorry. Whatever. Should I really be paying respects to some weird little commie by pronouncing his name right? Come on. Let's see here. Oh, wait, what's this? You did, Melissa Alert is, you just did the testing in QA. What did you do testing for? What did you do QA stuff for? Marlo Pierce had said, Briscoe, tell me about it without Melissa Lord's help mapping out my controller, etc. Purist gaming streams would never have happened. Speaking of which, need to finish up Revenge of the Sith and The Punisher. Nice. I need to play through the Revenge of the Sith game. Let's see here. Brandon Trent says, I saw some news that DreamWorks How to Train Your Dragon remake is doing better than Disney's Lilo and Stitch, according to reviews, even though both original animated movies had same directors. Huh. Timon says, good point. Butcher his name away. Nerdy Neo says, hey, commies are people too. Wait a minute. Never mind. Exactly. They all get the helicopter ride. All right. Whew. Chat is caught up. That was a lot. Damn. Whew. Nintendo really gets people going. Let's see here. Hitman. Can I ask you something? I think he ran away in fear. Hitman, hello? Briscoe says, I'll have to hire Melissa Lord to get my PC going, I guess. Oh, there's plenty of resources for you to do so, too. Melissa Lord says, I helped Justin get that Punisher game from 2005 working on his PC so he could stream it. Oh, gotcha. I had to test it and map the controller. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, sometimes trying to get some old clunky games to work again are kind of difficult, especially if they're PC games. It can be kind of troublesome, especially when you want a controller to work. I've always hated trying to do that sometimes. I'm like, come on, just magically work. So, Hitman, are you there? Hello? I was gonna say, I don't have you muted. I wish there was a noise I could send at him. Be like, hey, wake up. And he didn't send anything in the chat, so I don't know what the hell is going on with him. Oh, Dan Blackridge says that he's watching Thunderbolts. That must explain it all. Okay. I swear, I don't know if we need to start having intermissions or what. Nerdy Neo says R.I.P. Hitman. Dun, 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 dun. Melissa Lord says that Punisher game's only problem was that it's from 2005 and 20 years old. It never had anything for controller, just WASD and mouse. See, I probably would have just ended up playing it like that then myself. Then that just makes me think I'm wondering what the controls are like then. Because like if you're just doing WASD, then I would have been playing it just like that myself. So I'm like, yeah, don't need a controller for everything. So I mean, yeah, so I would play like Max Payne and stuff too if it's a third person shooter or something. Briscoe says the way you say hello is like Billy Crystal and City Slickers. Yeah, that you caught that. I'm glad that actually translated through. I wasn't sure if I was doing that well enough. Star Wars Marvel Pierce says Purist Gaming only sails the high seas. We actually don't support releases from Disney. Very good. Very good. I try to be careful with anything like that myself. So I try to keep it to whatever. I mean, I have a freaking library of games on Steam. So I've been trying to go through the backlog, but gosh darn it, I just like playing fun games that I've enjoyed. Oh, okay. Melissa Lord says we use Steam to make the controller work. The nice thing with Steam too, a lot of the times is that people will upload their own button mapping. So sometimes you can just download the right one or find a good one that'll work for you and then just use that. And then boom, it's smooth sailing from there. Okay. Well, I don't know if Hitman is listening. That's also the problem with all this. I don't know if I should shoot him a text and find out what the... Oh, wait. Hang on. Did he shoot me a text? Oh. See, now I looked at my phone. I'm like, now I see. Okay. Okay. Dad Blackbear says Disney is the only good studio left. You know, sir, it's tough with you sometimes. It's tough with you. Tremendously creative with Thunderbolts. Yes. I still haven't bothered to see it myself. But hey, Hitman gave us that review of it. He seemed to have enjoyed it, so. Well, since he hasn't seen Spaceballs, maybe this is something I'll fly a little bit solo on then. As it was kind of alluded to earlier, and since Brandon Tran also brought this up. So yeah, and I wanted to make sure and not go off of anybody else's rumors and everything like that. I went to quote unquote different sort or credible sources or whatever you want to call them at this point. But yeah, so Mel Brooks returning as Yogurt for Spaceballs sequel. The Amazon MGM Studios untitled comedy is set to hit theaters in 2027 with Brooks both starring and producing alongside Josh Gad. Now, I am a little unfamiliar with Josh Gad at the moment. I'd have to look at to see his credentials, although Melissa Lord was already unenthused and wary, so I can understand then. But yeah, Hollywood legend Mel Brooks, who will turn 99 later this month, is officially a go to appear in the untitled Spaceballs sequel that will be released in theaters 2027. Brooks will reprise his role of Yogurt in the follow-up to his 87 cult classic comedy spoofing Star Wars and other films of the era. Think of his characters as a tongue-in-cheek, I believe that's supposed to be cheek, Yoda. Brooks directed and co-wrote the original film alongside playing dual roles, and the other was the inept President Scroob. Hail, Scroob! This time out, Josh Greenbaum is helming the comedy from a script by Benji Samit, Dan Hernandez, and Josh Gad. I'm sorry, you've already got way too many cooks in this kitchen. Stop it. Who's also rumored to star. Amazon isn't commenting on further casting at this time, but I do have a follow-up and a tweet from Mel Brooks saying, "I told you we'd be back," and I'll play that in just a moment. But yeah, imagines Brian Grazer and Jeb Brody are producing the Spaceballs sequel, which has been in development for several years, alongside Gad, Brooks, and Greenbaum. Kevin Slater, Adam Miriams, Benji Samit, and Dan Hernandez will executive produce. Aside from voice projects, the last time Brooks appeared on the big screen was when making cameo appearances in 2005's The Producers, the movie adaptation of his hit Broadway musical, which in turn was based on his 1967 film of the same name. Brooks, director and writer of such defining comedies as Young Frankenstein, High Anxiety, Blazing Saddles. Details regarding the storyline of the new Spaceballs movie are being kept under tight wraps. Although in appropriate comedic fashion, Amazon MGM's press release included the following. While the title, plot details, and rest of the cast are being kept under wraps, film has been described by those who have not yet read the script as a non-prequel, non-reboot sequel part 2. But with reboot elements, franchise expansion film, an exact release date will be announced at a later time by Amazon. MGM, which is making an aggressive push into the theatrical space. Originally released by MGM in 1987, a decade after George Lucas's sci-fi classic Star Wars first debuted. Spaceballs starred Bill Pullman, John Candy. See, that's going to be... I was going to get to this, but since they mentioned John Candy, like, that's going to be such a miss, because he had a presence all of himself, and, you know, he was barf. He was his own best friend. But, like, you are missing certain players to this, and so it's going to be kind of weird when they're trying to bring some of these people back too, especially after all of this time. Only now are they finally doing it. It's just kind of weird too. It's been so many sequels nowadays. Like, it's just so well after the fact. It's like, why bother with this sort of thing? Just you had a singular fantastic movie that was funny and all of that. Just leave it at that. Daphne Zuniga, as well as the voice role for Joan Rivers. Oh, yeah. R.I.P. to her as well. Film earned $38.1 million and wasn't exactly a hit, and earned mixed critical reviews, but in subsequent years has become a cult hit and is considered one of Brooks's signature films. I remember seeing it a lot of times on TV, and that was my copy for the longest time. Was I recorded it on VHS, and I got good with that stuff too. So when the commercial breaks hit, I paused it right at the right time. So then basically it was just one singular thing, and so then we just put it on whenever we wanted to. Let's see. Gad teased work on the project in 2024 with a cryptic Instagram post that blocked out certain sections of the script's cover page. Quote, "Just handed in a film script that I think may be the funniest and best thing I've ever worked on. I am so freaking excited." Gad captioned the post at the time. He added that working with Samit and Hernandez has been heaven on earth and many other planets as well. Love you boys. The big question is though, will Mel Brooks make it through all this? The dude isn't a spring chicken. He's hitting 99. He's almost 100, for God's sakes. I mean, great that he's staying active, I guess. It's just like, but dude. So yeah, there's that side of it, and then I do, like I said, I had the follow-up because then I did see this casting announced. Bill Pullman, Rick Moranis returning for new Spaceballs. Keke Palmer, Lewis Pullman also set the dish. So yeah, updated.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Have you been listening at least?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so Bill Pullman and Rick Moranis are set to reprise their respective roles as Lone Star and Dark Helmet in the new Spaceballs movie from MGM Studios, with Keke Palmer, I'm not familiar with her, joining the cast, sources tell Deadline. Oh, sources. Well, I guess this would be the take it with a grain of salt sort of thing. But Amazon declined to comment, and character details for Palmer is under wraps, as it is the sequel's plot, newly on board. The addition of Moranis, though, is particularly striking, as the actor hasn't been seen much on screen for decades. As announced this morning, the original film's director and star Mel Brooks will also feature in the cast once again. Yeah, this is kind of so this is gonna be now just reiterating, but like just to kind of get Rick Moranis back, because he is, last I knew, he like kind of did a more Richard Dean Anderson thing, but much earlier on, and just, you know, he outed to take care of his family because I think his wife had passed away. So I could be mixing the two up with that, but like he like Rick Moranis retired from acting altogether. It was like, nope, out. And he'd been in a lot of stuff, but just kind of outed, just kind of left the whole Hollywood scene, which, I mean, hey, that was big kudos to him for doing that. But it's kind of funny that this will be the thing that'll be bringing him back in. I think they've tried to get him back for things like Ghostbusters even, but he's never returned for those. So it's just kind of a funny. What do you mean?
Well, he'll come back for this, but not Ghostbusters.
Well, I'd almost see Ghostbusters as being a little, especially when they tried to remove the stain of the 2016 version with, what was that, Ghostbusters Afterlife? But I see Ghostbusters being a little bit more bigger than Spaceballs, especially in like in culture and stuff like that. But I mean, because they said, it's gotten its cult following with Spaceballs. Although to me, like, I feel like it's just as big as anything else. But yeah, I just think it's just, to me, it's interesting, I guess, just to me. Yeah, I heard about that too.
Ghostbusters is bigger than Spaceballs.
Yes, I do. Especially since they got more of the merchandising.
Well, is that a fair comparison? Because wasn't there only one Spaceballs and there was 3 Ghostbusters?
Right,
So
but it was, even in Spaceballs, they teased the idea of a sequel, but they never did the sequel either. So, you know, take it for what you will.
The question is, if Spaceballs had 3 movies, would they be bigger than Ghostbusters?
Maybe. You could be on something there. Briscoe had said, last I heard, Rick Moranis, he got punched a few years ago by some guy on the street. I heard about that. Yeah. Yeah, I remember hearing about that. But yeah, so I don't know. It's like it is. And somebody
old.
Who?
He did not age well, Rick Moranis.
I mean, if this is current-y pictures, he doesn't look so bad. But yeah, let's see. Hang on, I saw some.
Was he in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
Yeah. Yeah, they point out that he was in where was it? Yeah, an icon of the 80s and 90s. Moranis rose to fame with roles like Ghostbusters, Little Shop of Horrors, the Honey I Shrunk the Kid films, and more after writing and starring in famed Canadian sketch series SCTV. Famously, he for the most part stepped away from the acting in the late 90s, focusing on raising his children. Okay, so yeah, I was right. Following the passing of his wife, costume designer Ann Belsky. Most recently, he teamed with Ryan Reynolds on a 2020 ad for Mint Mobile. Huh. That's just I don't know if I guess you could count that. So yeah, I guess he's come back in some ways. But I didn't even hear about that commercial thing. But yeah, like I said, it just feels like too little, too late for a sequel at this point. Like, why do it? Why bother?
They did Beetlejuice.
That was unnecessary too.
Gladiator.
Did. And so here's also the little kind of the teaser thing they did. Here we go. All right.
Yeah, that's what it was.
What?
The Great White North. Bob and Doug McKenzie.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I can never do it, but it's like, yeah, Great White North.
So yes, 38 years ago, there was only one Star Wars trilogy, but since then, there have been a prequel trilogy, a sequel trilogy, a sequel to the prequel, a prequel to the sequel, countless TV spots, movie spin-off of the TV spin-off, which is both a prequel and a sequel. Not to mention 2 Dunes, 7 Jurassic Parks, 2 Avatars, plus 3 upcoming Avatars, making 5 Avatars. 36 MCU movies with 2 different Robert Downey Jr.'s. Oh boy, here we go. Whole streaming service of Star Trek. Whew! But in 38 years, there has only ever been one. Spaceballs. Until now.
After 40 years, we asked, what do the fans want? But instead, we're making this movie. May the Schwartz be with you.
They should do another Blazing Saddles. Let's get Spaceballs. Let's get another Blazing Saddles in here.
Which they barely got away with even back then, apparently.
Will go down as one of the greatest movies of all time. Not my word. Not my word. The people have spoken.
Like it is. I enjoy Spaceballs when I throw it on every now and then. It's just, can we just leave well enough alone?
That's not fair, right? To the point really quick. Like you said, well, Ghostbusters is a bigger, like, yes, and they 3 movies. Never saw Spaceballs, probably won't see Spaceballs just because you're gonna make fun of stuff. I just have no real desire. But if
it's good. It's good natured ribbing. It's good natured ribbing.
I agree with you that, and I had posted a couple things in Discord about because I
I don't know if I saw the Spaceball. I think I did see maybe the Spaceballs. Like, anyways, Orlando Bloom.
Yeah.
There's an article that I put in there. I don't know how accurate it is because I got it from, I think, Down Into Comics or IGN, but one of the two. He was, there was rumor that he's going to reprise his role in Lord of the Rings Search for Gollum. Here's the thing. It's kind of the same thing, whether it be, and I wasn't a Beetlejuice fan. The thing is, I agree with you. Let them die. Let them be alone because you always run the risk of boobing them up.
Yes.
Perfect example. Top Gun 2. Top Gun Maverick. Was it as great as the first one? Absolutely not. Was it good? Sure. But was it at the same level as the first? No. And mind you, Tom Cruise was heavily involved in the second.
Right.
So was it Bruckheimer? Bruckheimer? Whatever his name is?
I don't know.
Whether Tony Bruckheimer, I think. Anyways, the director. So, yeah, very rare. Will the sequel precede the first, with the exception of Back to the Future. Back to the Future may be the only movie where the second was better than the first.
We settled this last week, sir.
We did, and the people spoke. Second was far superior than the first one.
I don't believe that's how the voting turned out, but okay, we'll go with your narrative.
The other example would be Godzilla, King of the Monsters. One of the greatest Godzilla movies of all time. Far better than -1. It was +1, +2. No minus on that movie. No minuses whatsoever. Do you agree?
I'm not getting into that one with you. You keep needling that one. You keep needling that one. I'm not. No.
Who?
You.
Was it
you.
needling? I don't know.
You.
Who's needling? I don't know. I don't know what needling is. To quote Ben Shapiro, this is another shirt we need to probably make on Wormhole Watches. Facts don't care about your feelings. We can't do that though because Ben coined it. But
I was gonna say he probably has that trademarked and everything, and we'd be sued if we tried using it.
No, I will stand and lock arms with you about for the most part, second. Let them be. Let old dogs lie, with the exception of Back to the Future. We have to see eye to eye on that.
Well, there are certain things that where a trilogy works because they've already either got certain things planned out for it and everything like that. And if they can pivot well enough to do so, absolutely. But that at least was they did that sequentially. Like they made them not super but especially 2 to 3, they made one after another.
I messed up too. So there's 2 great franchises where the second beat the first. Also, we talked about last week, Temple of Doom, bar none.
Absolutely.
Short round, short top.
So yeah,
you're still not agreeing with King of the Monsters, though.
Huh?
You're still not agreeing with me about King of the Monsters, which I think is a little disturbing.
I cannot and will not agree with you on that one. I'm sorry, sir.
But I just... You thought Monarch was a better show than...
God, no!
King of the Monsters?
I'd watched King of the Monsters before I watched Monarch. Jesus Christ, that show was terrible. Fuck.
You and Paul... Well, whatever.
Yeesh.
That was good. Anyways, yeah.
So yeah, it's why I titled the show the way I did. It's like, when will the quest for more stop? So
well, and here's the thing. What's interesting enough is, and then we can put it to rest, is Mel Brooks is it would be one thing if people were just talking about it. Yeah, well, what are your thoughts? The rumor mill, but Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks, the guy who made the greatest movie of all time. I mean, up there. Like Gladiator, probably. I mean, let's go for a male movie. I mean, Gladiator is fantastic, definitely top tier. But like he's, that's the difference when you have a director talking about it, I guess. But I guess that's also different because who did Gladiator 2? Was it the same director that did Gladiator 1? Who did
I don't know.
Did Tim Burton do the second?
Yeah, I believe Tim Burton came back for Beetlejuice.
So it's the same thing, I guess. So it's whichever way you want to shake it. So, but yeah, it's no different than we talk about. We've said in the past. It's like, let's just use this old dried up franchise and suck it for all it's worth.
So yeah, as Dan Blackred points out, Ridley Scott did do both.
Really?
Yeah. I don't. Sometimes when these old directors come back for these things, they aren't exactly quite in the same headspace as they were before, so they end up making changes unnecessarily and doing goofy stuff. So.
Oh, and that's saying something for Tim Burton because he's about as goofy as they come. He's
100%.
Quentin Tarantino level. So.
Yep. So.
I won't be surprised. It's probably gonna happen. They nothing's ever dead. Nothing's ever, never say never within it. I didn't think Hugh Jackman was going to come back. I thought once Logan was done, he was done. I didn't want him to be done, but he's like, I'm done, and he played his part well for a lot of years.
He did for sure.
So, do you think they'll make it?
Make what?
A second Spaceballs.
It sounds like they are getting things well underway. So yeah, they're making it. I just don't know how good it's gonna be. I'm not putting a lot of faith in it. Even though, yes, they have Mel Brooks coming back for it, it doesn't mean it's gonna be good because, as I recall, they already tried a TV show, a cartoon or something for Spaceballs, and it didn't pan out so well. So, Marvel Purist confirms Ridley Scott has fallen off, though. Tony Scott greater than Ridley Scott. R.I.P. Well, there you go.
What did we review? And I can't think of the topic, but we reviewed something a while back where we were so convinced. Oh, it was back. Was it Back to the Future where the original director was like, no?
Yeah.
He was so set, he was set on not doing it, and then he flip-flopped the people that own the rights or something.
No, there was no flip-flopping on that one. Bob Gale, I believe it was. He's been very adamant about there's gonna be no sequels for Back to the Future.
But they had made the game there was it a game?
There was the game. There was the game that they made before. Yes. Oh, what? Oh yeah. What was it? Was that a? Oh, darn it! No. Because yeah, you're right. We took a look at something on here.
Yeah, it was. I remember it was Bob Gale, and we were so convinced. We both were. Well, you were more so convinced, and I kind of followed suit that it wasn't going to be a thing, but he was going to stand his ground. And then we had heard about this game, and I brought up the point. It was like, okay, well, if they're so set on no, then why is all this other, I don't want to say PR happening, but all this other stuff being released if you weren't going to maybe follow it up with another movie?
Right.
Because that was around the same time. What sparked that topic was I had seen on Twitter or something about a potential. Oh, it was a trailer, and you told me it was fake, and I was like, no, it's not.
Yeah. You keep falling for the AI trailers, man.
It looked really real. It looked better than Acolyte or Skeleton Crew.
Well, that's not a high bar to get over, sir. But yeah, I remember us discussing it though. I just don't remember if it was. Yeah.
But to your point, like these directors have been, and I'm not trying to downgrade or down talk them or anything, but like when you've been out of the game for so long and you come back, it's like I don't know, maybe that might be a bad example, but like an old school wrestler coming back
Yeah.
into like, from the Attitude Era into like wrestling now, it's like it's completely changed. But like that might be a really bad example because filmmaking really shouldn't be anything. It should be different. I wouldn't think. I mean, unless it's like you grew up in like George Lucas era where the CGI, we didn't. They did actual like puppets and everything, and then slowly transitioned
to CG.
CG, yeah. So, but I mean, when did Blazing Saddles come out? My goodness, was it 50 years ago? 40?
Oof. Let's see. Hang on. Oh, god dang it.
I was at least 40. Maybe I could be wrong. I probably am, but
1974 for Blazing Saddles.
You're the math guy. How many years without using a calculator? Go.
So you're right. It was about 50 years.
Yeah. See. So, if that had been the only movie he had done, which it's not, and then come back, can you do that?
No.
Not in my book. Be the same.
It's not gonna have the same energy. It's not gonna have the same energy. You're missing two people who are part of the main cast. Joan Rivers and John Candy. Both played their character. I got no words. It's just all so tiresome at this point. It's this needless, weird. I don't know. Like I can't even say it's like Joel Hodgson suddenly bringing back Mystery Science Theater 3000. This isn't a midlife crisis for Mel Brooks, considering how old he is. It's just, but it just feels so wrong and out of place at this point. Like,
yeah, I was thinking, yeah.
I
was trying to think of John Candy. So yeah, he Uncle Buck.
Oh yeah, Uncle Buck is fantastic.
Yeah. So he had died. Yeah, I didn't realize.
Yeah, he passed away. He passed away in his sleep when he was doing Wagons East, which is an okay-ish Western comedy.
Uncle Buck was fantastic.
Oh, I love that movie. I still throw that on every now and then. I love it.
Well, here's the thing, though. We can't really discredit the fact that those two people are gone because Carrie Fisher was gone when they filmed
Rise of Palpatine.
Yeah. So, and then Tarkin, they brought Tarkin back. So, like, listen, it's not outside the realm of possibility. They could conjure something up.
Oh, don't. No.
Listen, it's not me. I'm just telling you. They literally, Peter Cushing died how many years ago? And they did
I know, but stop it. That's a path I don't want to think about right now.
All you need is a audio recording of the person and an actual, picture, physical, whatever, video, like whatever you need for the AI stuff. But like, yeah. Dare I say that maybe these new clones are far more superior than the John Candy and Joan Rivers?
Oof, lad.
I'm just saying. And let's be honest, half these, if they release this movie, like these kids aren't going to know who any of these actors are. Or they're not going to know what the movie is. My goodness. I ask kids that all the time at work if they've seen Tombstone. They're like, in a graveyard? Yeah, duh. I'm like, no, not a tombstone in a graveyard, you idiots. The Tombstone.
So, like you said before, they're all just so uncultured.
That's very interesting, though, with AI and everything. I wonder if that would be a thing. I don't know what happens if somebody die, like if a person dies.
They had last I
you
knew
have to
they
ask
still
the
had to.
family
Yeah,
to
you
use-
still have to get rights from the family, the remaining family. So I would only
even if you
hope.
own the IP.
I'd only hope that the kids of these actors would say no. But
How does that work? If you own the IP, like with James Earl Jones,
which he signed his
before he
likeness
sold
over,
it,
yeah.
well, before he did, if they own the IP, do they own you?
No, because he couldn't. They didn't. They couldn't just force him back to keep doing it.
Interesting, but they could have taken. They could have used. 4, 5, and they could have used audio for 4, 5, and 6 and done something without his.
Maybe, but
See, that's
again,
what
that would have needed his consent to use his voice like that because he has an iconic voice and everything. That's why they never did that for the video games. They always hired an actor to impersonate him for the video games.
Listen, I could be wrong, but if you're just taking what you said in the course of 3 movies and put it into an algorithm, and then the algorithm just creates, an endless, dictionary of, words or what. I don't know, man. I'm just saying, these don't put anything past these people these days. I don't. Do I think that they would do it? No, I think that's reserved for Disney because they're the only ones that I've seen do it. Could be wrong. Maybe other people have used AI to do it, but I don't know if you're serious about doing it. It's a nothing burger without those two. You can't have Blazing Saddles without John Candy.
What? Do you
No
mean
different than you can't have Uncle Buck?
Blazing Saddles?
Huh?
John Candy wasn't in Blazing Saddles.
Yes, he was.
No, he wasn't.
What I just saw here is that he was in it.
Where did you see that?
Stand by.
What?
Google.
Was he in? No.
Stand by. Are you sure? Yeah, right here.
No. I'm looking at his IMDb list right now. He's not in Blazing Saddles.
I'm looking at it too.
Yeah, he's not in Blazing Saddles, dude.
Oh, that's the Blues Brothers. Never mind. I got them mixed up.
What?
Sorry, my fault.
I was gonna say, yeah, he was in Blues Brothers. Yeah, it's one of the cops pursuing him.
My bad, chat. My bad. My fault. I got excited.
You had the conviction too. You were like, no, I see it. I'm looking at it. I'm like, no.
Yeah, my fault.
At least you're a big enough man to admit you were wrong.
Yeah, that was not my most brightest moment.
Don't worry, we've all had a slip. It's okay.
Also, fantastic movie, Blues Brothers.
Yeah, another good one.
That's embarrassing.
Briscoe says that AI stuff is frog shit. I think it will just end up ruining more people's legacies than anything else. And most young people don't even know who any of those dead actors are anyways. Oh, dude, you're preaching to the choir on this one. Like I'm with you 100%. Although Hitman seems to be full in on AI. I don't know why. He wants to resurrect dead people. I don't know why.
They did.
Sadly, they did.
Huh. I can't believe he wasn't in it. I thought he was.
Timon said John Candy was in Wagons East. Western. Yep.
Oh, I got it. That's what it was. I got Gene Wilder mixed up with John Candy. That's what it was.
Interesting.
They kind of look the same a little bit. No, just like no,
No,
man, they
no,
don't.
sorry.
No, they don't.
Brandon Trent had says, speaking of sequels, did you know someone at Pixar accidentally deleted the footage for Toy Story 2 in 1999, but Animator had a backup footage on their computer, which was why people can see it today? I did not know that. That's crazy. That's a hell of a thing to delete off the system like that. Jesus. But hey, at least somebody was diligent and kept a backup. Jeez. Marvel Purist has said a lot of human plot in -1, but much better in my opinion. I mean, my son sat through a subtitled movie, says a lot.
And that's another thing. I don't speak Japanese.
Neither do I.
Chinese or whatever. Is Godzilla Chinese or Japanese?
Japanese.
I thought it was Chinese because all the people people will talk for like 30 seconds and then they say, Godzilla!
Yeah, that's just dubbing. That's just the bad dubbing. Which I do sometimes have a nostalgia for.
Oh, that's what dubbing. Well, that's what dubbing is.
Yeah. When they do a voice, when they do a new voice over it, yeah, that's like the Western dub and stuff they call it.
Oh, like Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, same thing, dubbing.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
This show has been very informative. We've learned what grifting is. We've learned what normies are, or rather, who grifters are and what normies are, i.e., Star Wars Theory. Dubbing.
Yes.
We learned that John Candy is in fact not in Blazing Saddles.
That is true.
Like I thought it was because Google told me. We learned that Gene Wilder does not look like John Candy. This has been one of the most informative shows. I can't wait for 150.
I know, it's gonna be wild, isn't it?
Yeah. Huh.
First,
I can't wait to use that in a sentence.
Use what in a sentence?
Oh, Normie and Grifter and Shield and Seal, like this.
Yes.
Sealing, Shielding, Normie, Grifter, Parasite, whatever.
Parasite could be one of my favorites. Yes. Briscoe said, like, how many kids were jumping around going, look, they brought back Peter Cushing as Tarkin in Rogue One? Not one, I guarantee it. Yeah, no, I all I know is I was just like, oh my God, they've done it. They've really gone and done it. It was just so disgusting. Dan Blacker says the scene in the Flash movie was the worst example of what they are capable of. Oh no. Dan Blacker says episode 150, we all watched Thunderbolts together. Oh, actually, since we have Dan Black right here, did anybody notice the addition to the thumbnail this week? Hitman, did you see the addition to the thumbnail?
It's the one that you put this morning.
Yes. And did you see what I added to the thumbnail?
Stand by. Checking now. I need a minute. Give it a minute. Filibust. I hate Twitter. Doesn't work. I can't go to the.
I just shared it in Discord.
Oh, well, why didn't you say it in Discord? Oh, you did. You did do it in Discord, didn't you?
I just did now. Yes. This should not take this long.
What did you add?
Dan Blackroyd already got it. A glorious bush.
I don't. Where?
Look in the bottom left-hand corner.
I am.
Do you not see the green shrubbery with the John Hammond head sticking out of it?
No, I see Sheepster. That's all I see, unless Sheepster's a. Oh wait, hold on. No, all I see you're drinking a milk carton.
Where am I looking at? I don't
look at the little hand that's waving around over the image.
Oh, there. You need to put it there.
Here for let me show it to chat that aren't seeing it.
I'm like, I'm looking at it.
See, chat, there it is. If you can see the glorious bush of Hammond's bush. I got I thought I was thinking of it this morning. I'm like, you know what? I had added that milk carton back when oh, you know what? I should do this another way. Hang on. There we go. There we go. There we go. So yeah, I had added the milk carton. That was during some mockery at Running with Scissors when they took a shot at Melee games. And then of course, when we started watching Stargate, I added the two Jaffa troopers and the Stargate in the background. Sheefster, even though he's with us, but he's not here on the show. His presence is always felt. And this morning, I'm like, you know what? I need to add. I should add something else. What should I add? I feel like I need to add something. And so, whoops. And so, inspiration hit. I'm like, you know what? Hammond's bush. We're adding it on the thumbnail. We've got our own memes, baby. We've got our own memes here. So that's why you see, he's there in all his glory. Huh?
What's the milk carton?
The milk carton was making fun of one of the guys from Running with Scissors that was taking shots at people. And I forgot what exactly was on the milk carton, but he's basically like a lost child. It's supposed to be also like I think a joke from within the game too. So it was like it had layers, but I put it there. I put that there a while ago. So now we've just been collecting
I didn't notice that.
Shows how much you pay attention.
Trying to find. Well, it's not in my. I'm in Discord right now, and I don't see the bush. All I see is the milk carton.
Well,
What am I missing? Oh, I'm just telling you, I didn't see it. I have it pulled up.
I was gonna say I included it with the Twitter, so.
Stand by. Go filibuster something because I.
Oh boy! All right, let me.
I could be wrong. I was wrong about John Candy. Hold on, give it a minute. You cannot, and by the way, you cannot clip that. If you clip that clip about me saying, "Oh, it is there."
Yeah.
Hey, look at that. What you just look at? It is there. You do have the milk carton. Why am I not drinking anything?
I'm not drinking anything either. It's just sitting there on the desk.
You're drinking is like you're drinking like literal tears. You're drinking this guy. What is this guy?
Damn it! Damn Black Red saying justice for Vent Boy. Vent Boy got what he deserved.
Please don't ever remove Hammond's bush. Somehow, like, figure out how to put it in the background, or like a little, like in a nice little plant, and we'll have it on the disc. Like a commentator.
You wanted some shrubbery on the desk. Okay, I'll try and think of something. I did it that way because then we could still see Hammond's face sticking out of the bush, because that was the whole point.
Yes, no, I mean keep it like that, but have a nice little plant. We can water it. That's brilliant. I did not. Good on you.
Thank you. I was rather proud of it myself.
Yeah. You can always have like Sheepster in the background pointing at it.
Ideas. Ideas. Yes.
Ideas.
Yes. All right. Let's get to this one last thing. since we're coming on time, but we'll get to Dan Blackbird watering the bush. Yes. I mentioned this to you yesterday, and this might be bringing you a little pain. I don't know, but here we go. Superman tickets on sale now, folks. Oh, I gotta share it for you. Hang on. Since we've been staying kind of consistent, checking out these trailers and everything, I figured, well, why not check the newest one that dropped? So here we go. Are you ready for this, Hitman?
Oh yeah.
All right, here we go. Here we go. I don't know about this anymore. Like
Why?
I was kind of interested, but some of these scenes out of this are looking a little goofy and giving me more Guardians of the Galaxy vibes than anything.
Why?
Oh, come on. You're telling me, hang on, where was it? The teeth flying out looked good. Like, I mean, yeah, we got the dog getting into the mix. But come on, this? I mean, it doesn't help that I'm also doing this in slow motion. It makes it look worse. But, bruh, like, video games have done better than this.
Looks like a real tooth.
And so they're also then breaking fourth wall here by having it bounce off the camera.
Deadpool did it.
But that makes sense to Deadpool because Deadpool's a character that is continuously breaking the fourth wall. Last I knew, that wasn't a Superman thing. Last I knew, I'm not a Superman aficionado or anything. But I'm having to agree with chat who like Melissa Lord, CGI looks like ass. Marvel purists, CGI is horrible too. And then, I mean, I don't know. I get some questionable vibes here with her being the one in charge of the flying of the ship and all. I don't know. Certain warning signs, maybe. But that could just be me.
You're sexist.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I just have questions. That's all I'm saying. A little questionable moments, but then, like I said, then like him kind of, was it like this little bit here? This felt like something like more out of like what he's done in Guardians of the Galaxy, and I can't speak to like anything else that he's done. I haven't seen all of his movies, but the little exchange here gave me that sort of vibes. And again, I don't know if that's the tone you want to take.
Well, Superman was never. And again, I'm speaking not as an authoritative voice on it, but Superman. I was talking to a buddy of mine at work last night, and who is a comic book. I mean, he's very much like Star Wars Marvel purist. He knows his stuff as far as comics because he's read them. But Superman was never as dark as like Batman.
No, I'm aware of that. Yeah,
you know, so his whole defense was like this movie's getting a lot of hate because it's, you know, taking this type of approach. But from his side of it, he's like, well, Superman was never like meant to be like, it was never dark, kind of like that, right? I mean, if you're comparing it to like typical DC stuff. So here's the thing, I get it. I'm going to take the role as the I can't say unbiased because there's a little bit biased, but I'm trying to keep an open mind about this movie because let's be honest, we haven't had a good DC movie for years. I mean, it's been donkey's years since we've had a good movie, right? And I do like the fact that they brought crypto in. I think that's a you know, a fun take. We've never seen it before. Learned recently last night that Crypto's actually from Krypton. Didn't know that in the comics. Like 98% sure during the discussion I had that was brought up. So whatever. Is the CGI bad? Yeah, some of it's probably not as great, but is it better than the CW? Absolutely.
Oh, come on.
So
The
you're waiting on that
CW is going off of like TV budgets and stuff. This is big Hollywood spectacle. You should be looking better than that stuff.
You can't make that argument because Disney has more money than, and look at their CGI. My goodness, they didn't even get Mandalorian.
You're not lying there. But like
I don't know.
Timon points out, but Supes were never jokey too. Like I understand that Superman is not going to be on the degree of like dark, edgy, brooding and stuff like that, like Batman. I understand that. I've got a basic understanding. Like I base things off of what I know from what I saw with the Christopher Reeve Superman movie, the first one. Like it's fun action adventure superhero movie that it's light.
Superman didn't watch his parents die in front of him. I mean, that would jack up anybody.
Exactly. So with Superman, I'm not expecting like dark, edgy, and brooding. So that's like not it. I'm just like Timon points out, I'm not expecting a lot of these jokes though either. I'm expect at least a degree of like even the Superman cartoon. The cartoon took itself seriously, and it was not overly jokey unless like certain jokes were coming from the bad guys, certainly, but not generally from Superman.
Here's the thing. We don't know the timeline of this movie, so
that's the other very confusing thing about this, because
it'd be kind of like year one for Batman. This could be super, the beginning of, his run. I don't know, because the movie doesn't say, and I'm not going to sit there and try to piece together. Okay, what timeline was Guy Gardner in? What timeline was Hawk Girl in? What timeline was Mr. Terrific in? Because they all, from my understanding, there was a comic where they were all on a team. It was like a very low level Justice League type. If I can remember this right. Again, don't quote me because I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, then I'll apologize. But like that's my understanding. They were on like some type of group. But again, you don't know the timelines. Batman, and as messed up as Matt Reeves' movies was, I wasn't a fan of it per se. But like you could tell, like that was year one. That took place, between Long Halloween and oh gosh, what was it? And Long Halloween and like the Dark Knight, whatever. It was the beginning stages.
One of those.
Like the first. Oh no! I'm sorry. It was Long Halloween in year one. So within like the first 3 to 5 years of him,
being
coming
Batman
into his own. So yeah. So obviously he grows and becomes, you know what I mean. So I don't know, man. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to go in with an open mind because I really want it to be good. I don't want it to be trash. Do I need it? Do I need to expect it to be trash? Yes. But I really want a good movie. It's been so long. I had my issues with freaking Man of Steel. I think for the most part, Henry Cavill played a pretty good Superman up until freaking Justice League, which was trash, absolute trash.
He was he was wasted potential. He was very wasted potential.
Right. But again, when the directors are telling you to do something, you have no choice. It's either get in line or don't. They'll replace you. So again, I get that, and that's part of the reason why, that Jesse Eisenberg, whatever, like he was absolutely atrocious, absolutely terrible Lex Luthor. But to his somewhat of his credit and his defense, he came out and said that I did what I could with what I had. Man, come out, say that exactly that. But like he was clear that like he was following the script, he was following the direction they wanted to go. So as much as he's he played that role terribly. Like again, the point I'm trying to make is like you are beholden to the powers that be. No different than Sam Raimi and trying to take the Spider-Man movies where he wanted to go. I think if he had complete utter control and didn't have to listen to the powers that be, could have had amazing Spider-Man movies. Could be wrong, but that's the point I'm trying to make. You're kind of beholden to what the people tell you to do.
Right. No, I got you. Well, and it also,
but I also don't want to be. Yeah.
Melissa Lord here also says there's stuff about it I like, such as Luthor and Superman's fight, but there's a lot I don't like. There's no truth, justice, and the American way, so I hate that. And last I had heard, allegedly, James Gunn is not including that as the motto for Superman in this. I believe I was hearing rumors that is truth, justice, and the human way. So, yeah.
Well,
that's
they're.
Because he is supposed to be the whole ultimate story of basically, you're the ultimate kind of like immigrant turned American sort of thing, like he completely
or immigrant turned Russian. Let's not forget Mark.
But we're not talking about that. There's that, but we're talking about more for the traditional Superman on this.
Well, it depends if you're Russian or you're American. If you're a Russian reading Superman Red Sun, you're going to think, he landed 15 minutes after Kansas and came to Russia and became, Stalin's, poster child.
Right.
If you're on this side of the pond, it's like, no, he's the American hero. Which, again, that's incorrect because Batman he holds that title, not Superman. Be quite frank with you. It's
as
role, not
what, the Ultimate American, or what's Batman's? Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that.
Philanthropist at best. He wasn't like William Riker. He wasn't out there, he embodied the American spirit.
So, question though, what's with the little green baby? Do you know what that's about? What's with the little green baby?
I was explained to me. I thought it was like Mr. Bug, but it's a. I was told this last night and I forget. I'll find out.
And why is Superman being violated by tentacles?
Well, if you were fighting a tentacle-looking kaiju, you probably get violated too.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Wait, is this that shape, the guy you were mentioning? Wait, the in the top right corner there, is that guy you mentioned his name before the last time we did one of these?
No, it's not Starro. Starro's a star.
No, not Starro, but the guy that can like change elements, or it looked like he even created kryptonite in his hand in the cell.
Oh, Metamorpho?
Yeah.
Metamorpho?
Yeah. So you think that's him using the weird tentacles and stuff?
Could be Metamorpho. I mean, he had the kryptonite claws. Let's see here.
And where was it? Star Wars Marvel Pierce was saying, Lois flies the ship. This is the DCU. Listen, cultural subversion is everywhere, good sir. And I question everything. And certainly there are setups for a lot of different stuff. So it just makes me wonder. All.
No, but I mean, Marvel Purist is. I mean, he's got a point. It could be the DC.
Well, I don't know if he was saying that in jest or being genuine. So,
I mean, regardless if it's jest or genuine, he's got the point nonetheless.
Dan Blackroyd points out Metamorpho, and Timon says that's the Metamorpho's child. Okay. I've admitted I am a Superman normie. I don't know a whole lot about Superman. I don't know a lot about the DC universe. I am very uninformed about it. I just know bits and pieces that I do when it comes to Batman, at least, and a little bit with Superman, just a little itty bitty bit. But I do admit I am very much out of my realm. But I just think this has been interesting because Hitman is he's on board. So,
listen, I will come back July 12th, I'm going to go see this July 11th.
Okay.
I will come back July 12th, or whenever the following show is. It's probably going to release on a Friday, and so I'll come back that Saturday, and I will be prepared to eat crow if it's absolutely terrible. You know, I will admit that I had a negative presupposition about James Gunn because he was at Marvel, and at that point in time, I just thought, here's that friendly divide. You're a DC fan or you're Marvel. It's the kind of the same thing. You're Star Wars or you're Star Trek, right? I didn't think you could be both.
Right.
So him coming over, I was very skeptical, and I had a negative presupposition. I was like, he's trash. And then Guardians of the Galaxy, I don't like that humor. I don't like Marvel humor. I hate Loki's humor. I despise it. It's like, because I'm a DC guy, I'm very serious. I don't want humor in my movies. I want to just,
yeah,
the Heath Ledger and Christian Bale type seriousness. Now there is Joker, but it's not like Marvel. There's humor, but it's not like Marvel humor, right? But I will say that him coming over, despite Blue Beetle being absolutely atrocious and Black Hammer being asinine and everything else that has come about since he's started, I just really want something good. So.
Yeah. No, I understand 100%. It's like with me with some video games. I want nothing more than things to be good, but yeah.
Could they have done away with the teeth thing? Yeah. Could they have injected more of a Rocky type feel? Probably. But oh well.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand the tone of this movie. That's all. I'm just trying to understand what that sort of thing is going on with this particular movie. That's all. And I'm feeling like there's a lot going on for a first Superman movie of this new setup universe. And I'm just trying to I would like a little bit of a consistency here because I feel like there's serious parts. There's too much jokey seeming bits. And like I said, the whole teeth knocking off the camera seems very breaking the fourth wall. And so that to me, again, sets a weird mindset of what the tone is supposed to be for this movie, because you did point out Deadpool, but Deadpool, like I said, that's kind of his shtick, is to break the fourth wall, to talk to the camera and to interact with the audience. But that's not like what I would suspect with this, unless you've got maybe an alternative, I don't know, something else like an almost a narrator going on that we just don't know about for the movie or something weird like that. I don't know. It just kind of didn't quite match up with me. And then also he looks like he's fighting with the Green Lantern guy and everything. It's I don't know what the hell's going on. And I guess that's meant to entice me, but it just confuses me and makes me stay away. If that makes sense.
There's also talk that the Ultraman could be actually Bizarro, which if that's the case, that would be epic.
There we go. So Marvel Pierce did clarify what he was meaning, and I'm sorry if I misunderstood you, sir. I'm literally saying our side would be calling it Shiyu if it was Marvel, so the MCU. I think he says, I think a lot of our side have a DC slant, always have. So that's why they're not calling it the DCU, except for I guess I am, because I was pointing out the lowest thing.
Let's call a spade a spade.
I mean, what can I say? When I see certain things, it just kind of, I get the alert bells. I get the alert bells. So, Marvel Pierce did say, I know Man of Steel is controversial, but back then and for the most part, I appreciate Snyder actually respects a show of masculinity and femininity in characters. That being said, he's better at direct adaptations, not writing. Fair enough. And it said Fox X-Men humor versus MCU humor, especially post Guardians of the Galaxy, is a big contrast. The worst part of the movie for me. Oh, that's something else. Like it is. I'll wait to hear your take on it. This is that's gonna be on July 11th. So yeah, that's a Friday. You'll get the report in, sir. If you go and see it on like that Saturday before the show.
Yeah.
So anyway,
we'll see.
Yeah, I figured we would cap it off with that. The Nintendo was the biggest
Maybe
segment.
we'll both go. Maybe I'll get tickets and we'll both go. And then we'll review it on Saturday.
I'm usually working on Saturdays, but maybe we can figure something out.
We have technology.
We do. We'll think. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. You go see this with me, and I won't go see -1. How about that?
Briscoe says we can't get good things anymore because they got rid of all the good writers and all the other talented behind the scenes people for computers and morons that don't know how that stuff works. Very true. Brandon Trent says James Gunn probably wants to avoid doing another Superman copy movie with just Superman only because Superman Returns flopped. Brandon Roth deserved better with a good script as Superman. Yeah, I remember. I've never seen that one, but I've seen like the actor in that role. He looked the part. It's just unfortunate. Yeah, like you say, he didn't get a good script and everything. Hey, Captain Keeley, how's it going, sir? We're getting ready to wrap things up. Dan Blackbear says it won't be better than Thunderbolts. Well, shit. When you had to live up to such a high bar like that, how else are we going to go anywhere? Nerdy Neo says, quote, I don't want humor in my movies. Confirmed. Hitman hates fun. Brendan Tran has said the new DCU timeline in Superman looks like a mix of several elements. Black Adam vibes with Mr. Terrific's team, an experienced Superman like All-Star Superman comic, and Jimmy Olsen, a character. Yeah. People were kind of hating on Luthor. Timon said too much happening for this movie, for this first movie. I agree, but then says also crypto's stupid. You do not have some crypto supporters. Sorry. Yeah, I agree with Briscoe when he said bring back practical effects. Dan Blackbeard had said this reminds me of the first Thor movie when they released the trailer and Conan did a bit on his show where he dubbed over it all with high voices. Oh God, especially Lex. Marvel purists like the first Thor movie. The first Thor movie is fun. It's not bad. It's not terrible.
Yeah, when he's like, this drink, I like it. Another, and he smashes it.
Yep. Marvel Pure said, no blood. My son knocked out one of his teeth and it was a fucking bloodbath. Okay. Yeah, Dan Blackbeard said Bob is better than Superman. Lex sounds like a bitch. About as intimidating as J.I. Acup, says Purist. A lot of recycled scenes from Man of Steel. Really? Huh. I've never watched Man of Steel, so. Okay, back to what's current. Marvel Purist says Superman just learning his powers and not a trained fighter, so I have no problem with him killing Zod to save lives. People's straw man argument is that Superman doesn't save anyone or do anything heroic, but hate the part where he does. Dan Blackbeard says Zod gets beaten at the very start of the movie in hand-to-hand combat by a scientist. He's not a threat. Oof. Marvel Pure says first Thor movie is a great hero's journey in my opinion. I can probably agree with that. Melissa Lord says this movie will suffer from Spider-Man 3 syndrome. Too many characters and too much stuff going on. It looks like it. That looks like exactly what's happening. It's unfortunate for the first outing too, for what is supposed to be, their new whole cinematic universe for DCU. Maybe it'll pull it off. I mean, James Gunn does okay with kind of the whole ensemble cast thing with and whatnot, but I mean, though honestly, Guardians 1 was probably the better of the two that I've seen. I still need to see the third movie. I haven't seen the third movie yet, but like 2 got a little busy and some things could have been handled a little better. I thought the whole dad thing kind of like, again, dad bad. So I was like, okay, we're doing that. But yeah, like, I don't know. It's like you try to kind of keep an open mind, but it's really tough with what you've already seen prior. So Marvel Pure says Gunn should have done a non-comedic horror movie like Swamp Thing and tapped someone else to make Superman. That could have been interesting. That could have been an interesting route to take. Somebody that's definitely, like you say, more suited for that sort of storytelling for sure. Brendan Trent says James Gunn did say he and Peter Safran had a plan for DCU, so who knows how the rest of the DC universe will go. Yep, I mean they're still piecing a lot of it together, and so I guess all we can do is wait and see. Well, with that, I think we will call it here. This has been a fun and informative night, especially for Hitman, as he's learned some new terms and their meaning and everything. Isn't that right, Hitman?
Yeah, pound sign, don't be a grifter.
Exactly. Well, like it is, we will see you, of course, same bat time, same bat channel next week. This week, of course, I will be on the weekend pregame. Static 2020 is on Static 2020's channel. It's gonna be his 100th episode for a weekend pregame. He's got a guest lined up. I'm curious to know who he's brought in. There definitely won't be a gaming stream Wednesday. I don't know about Thursday morning or anything. There's some plans that'll be taking place. So I'll see what I can do in between then. Otherwise, keep an open ear out for anything else. And Hitman, do you got anything you want to say to the rest of the people?
Yeah, just catch us. You mentioned Wormhole Watch.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, Wormhole Watch will be there. I'll have to get caught up on all the Bajoran madness, because that's what we expect with Bajorans, is just madness and tomfoolery.
Absolutely.
And yeah, pretty much
All
it.
right. Well, and thank you all. Yeah. And thank you all for being here. The Briscoe, Brandon Tran for popping back in once again. Star Wars Marvel purist, Melissa Lord, from the start to the end. So pumped. Let's go. Captain Keeley jumping in here at the end. We had Meteor Advocate Timon, Dan Blackroyd, even Duke Devil 95 himself, Brad jumped in. Nerdy Neo, not on the replay, but here in the flesh, watching, listening. Thank you so much, sir. I believe I said Briscoe. We haven't seen Static. What the hell, man? But otherwise, thank you all so much for being here. We will catch y'all next week. Bye-bye. Oh, great. Now I can't find that. Where is it? I do this every time. There we are.
What is thy bidding, my master?
Yeah, I should have known from the very beginning. From what you said. Yeah, when the mega powers were formed. Yeah, what you were out for from the very beginning. Yeah, you were after what was mine. I remember what you said.
You can destroy the Emperor. Join me. Together, We can rule the galaxy as father and son.
Yeah, that one was rough. Those words right there. Yeah, I got stuck, yeah, but I swallowed it anyway. Didn't like the taste, but I swallowed it anyway, yeah. But I remember the time when there was a conquistador out of the ring, the one that's so jealous that he can't stand it, yeah. Yeah, you came in there with your poses, yeah, but you made a big idiot out of yourself, yeah. And speaking of idiot things, what about that stupid idea? Did you forget that one? Think back. That right there sealed your fate. Yeah, that put the madness over the edge. But I'll tell you what felt even better here was in the dressing room, in the first aid room. Me being unselfish, yeah, said go ahead, do the thing, yeah. You won't steal my thunder, no. When you take a look at the madness's eyes, all you're gonna see is complete and utter rage.